at the big desk, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon here as we head into the weekend, wrapping up. Impressively positive, not only day, but going to be an impressively positive week as well. And it's been all about tech right from the get-go. Back on Monday, earlier on this week, S&P all-time high, NASDAQ all-time high, volatility nowhere near all-time high. So it's been a slow and kind of steady grind to the upside. I was just kind of comparing a few of these tech names here before we jump back over here. But Microsoft just 0.8 to the upside. If you look at the AMDs of the world, it's still all about semiconductors. AMD up 3.7% once again today. NVDA similar, there or thereabouts. So tech in general, strong, yes, but it's mostly, again, about these semiconductors. There's Intel, 3.7% as well, looking great, right at day highs. AMD, as I mentioned, 3.7%, a little bit of a pullback right now. Broadcom, actually the winner down here, 5.25 on the day. Crazy move right now for AVGO, big $600 stock. AMD, Intel, QCOM, NVIDIA, 3.2%, Apple, Google, Microsoft, the whole group. Netflix, let's just talk about the ones that aren't really green on the day. Netflix down 1.3% on the afternoon, everything else so looking pretty good. Wells Fargo leading the banks right now, 2.8% to the upside. Everything else in this group pretty much green as well. We were talking, Sean and I were talking on the podcast about this. Berkshire is the biggest or most heavily weighted financial, and it's also made up mostly of Apple. So if Apple's having a good day, Berkshire's probably having a good day. If you want to buy the banks, buy XLF, which is a lot of Berkshire, which is a lot of Apple. So 7 degrees of separation there from Apple. Tesla and UNH downside, notably downside here. Tesla 0.6% only though, but otherwise it has been an interesting day. Yeah, there's the S&P, or the SPY anyways, at all-time highs. It's, what was this? November was the low there, was 409. We're back to 480, just absolutely straight to the upside since the beginning of, or end of October, beginning of November, going back to late 2023. And it's all about, yeah, AI to the upside. We kick things off, if you're with us in the pre-market this morning, once again, with a look at semiconductors, because as I mentioned when we came on, it's been all about semiconductors leading the march higher for the NASDAQ right across the board. Take your pick, guys. It's, I mean, a 4+ kind of a day right across the board as I look at this group.
Wow. Like, this is, the market is ridiculously resilient. And I'll be the first to admit, for those that were watching the midday, when I was like, my gut is telling me the NVIDIA 590 break is not going to be any good. Sorry, that's not what I said. I said, I didn't think it was going to be clean. I think that was the way I was describing it. So that's on me. It's when is a good day not a good day when it should have been twice as good. That's the best way. I think sometimes you got to think that way. I have Micron now. I'll show you a chart of Intel at some point, but I'm going to get over that at some point. But Intel was probably an easy long. But NVIDIA has been charging. The way this all started out this morning was, I mean, just not this. Like, NVIDIA dips right to previous close price. Now, if you're looking at NVIDIA and not somewhere else, and you're looking for dips in the previous close, that's about as nice as it's going to get. It gets within about $1, and then just straight to the upside, 590 went. And the craziest thing, this is up 3%, and look at the charge. It's not even close to the stronger one, because you saw Super Micro. Like, SMCI, all you can do is give the old slow clap for this stock, because it's ridiculous, it's wild, it's outrageous, to be honest with you, but this was complete and utter nonsense. I had a long early on Marvell, but we're not going to be trading that one. I think I'm going to stick to looking at, like, Micron is approaching a big time level for me. That's why I jumped on over to it. NVIDIA, maybe 600 comes into play. So as far as Micron goes, there's this channel to the upside that I've been observing. And to me, if we get that 2%, which I think we're going to get 2% today, then you've got the 52-week high at 88. And if you bust that, you've got 89, which is the top of this channel that's been around for a year on Micron. So I'm looking to hold long into 88, look for a place to add as long as this market can maintain its strength. There's lots of chip names that you could have played. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit late to that game. You know I was gonna still be an Uber at this point. Save, forget about that. Like, it's in the money, but it's barely moving today, so Spirit Airlines, yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about that at some point. The chips are good, and the market is green. There's a reason we got bulls out here, but it's still surprising. Like, somehow the strength of this move is still shocking. You can be long all day, it doesn't matter.
Definitely.
Still shocking. Out too early, not into some of these too late, but wow, just do not bet against these chips. I do still think what I thought in the morning, though, when we're continuously getting these news, like Meta's spending this much on AI, you're going to get every single one of these names saying how much they spent on earnings and mentioning AI a million times, and that's going to buoy stocks like NVIDIA and Supermicro. I think that's a bit of a trouble because NVIDIA is at the end of the earnings cycle, so all that good news from their customers is going to come in, and then at the end of the cycle, you're going to have NVIDIA actually produce their numbers when they've already run up. So I do think this is turning NVIDIA's earnings into a bit of a sell event, but you don't have to worry about that until February 21st.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild move here. I was talking to Neil earlier, saying how take a look at the 15-minute candles on the NQ. There's only one candle that really kind of pulled back and violated prior bar low right there, and that's the 1030 candle. And then since then, and since the open, pretty much no other candles have really kind of, what is that? Okay, that tripped me out pretty hard. Look at this wick that's happening on Softy all the way down here. I was like, no way, we just clipped all the way down to 95s. That's absolutely wild. Apple's pushing to the highs. This market can't stop, won't stop. 17.4. Who would have thunk? SPY all-time highs. Oh, baby, are we back?
All right, let's go to Meta. A quick review here. Another daily chart that looks, hey, very similar. Back to highs for Meta, 1.8% today, but it's been 3 days in a row, straight to the upside. There wasn't a heck of a lot. I mean, we were touching on this AI, shocking, angle again for Meta. They're collecting these chips like they're oxygen at this point, and who knows what they're going to do with them, but I mean, I'm sure there's a few deployed in what they're already working on, but yeah, great day. I mean, what's to say about Meta?
Yeah, Zuckerberg is going to fuse both branches of his AI development there, so they can work together. In pursuit of that goal, they're going to basically accumulate about 350,000 H100 chips by the end of the year. Breno, that's going to slate about $9 billion worth of spending. They're also going to pick the MI300 from AMD.
Yeah, impressive across the board. It was $9+ billion just on GPUs, but almost 2% here. We're curling back to the upside on the day. We're curling back to the upside for the NASDAQ once again, guys, back to highs.
Okay, so DVDRD, this was not usually on my board, so I'm going to hit this because you asked for it. Hopefully this actually works, though. Okay, it did work. All right, I just want to make sure.
Hey.
So like we have very different boards, but that's, I mean, obviously Obi is sitting in that Microsoft trade, so we'll hit it for that. Now, obviously, it's looking pretty strong. What do you mean not enough?
I don't have enough. I mean, I did call G-Eazy in the morning. I was like, yo, order more, and came through off the 94s, and I was just like, all right, well, 97s, 400s is the plan. Don't really get more on the 95, but
you know Richard Pryor?
Much better.
And Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I know.
There's a bit Eddie Murphy does when like he has a bit where like Bill Cosby's like harassing him about cursing in his sketches and his bits, and so essentially he pretends he's calling up Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor's like, okay, when you tell the jokes, do the people laugh? I'm paraphrasing because Richard Pryor says it differently, obviously. And he's like, yeah. Do you get paid? Yeah. Then tell Bill to have a Coca smile and shut the you-know-what up. That's the thing about the trade. Like, okay, could you have had more? Are you in the winner? Are you winning on it? That's all that matters. Worry about scaling later. You're in the trade. You made money on the trade. You can't go back in the past to take the trade that you're not in. You can't go back in the past to add size that you didn't get to. Did I wish I bought Uber 3 more times off of VWAP? Probably.
I definitely do.
It's been so good off of VWAP, but it is what it is. As far as Meta goes, so Meta, I guess maybe we'll see 385. So the all-time, let me go back to, I actually have to show the weekly chart here on Trade Ideas to get this right. Because, we don't do the pre-Meta, the name change. So when it changed names on P Pro 8, it stops at that moment. So it pretends it didn't happen. it looks as if we might get there. Now, this morning, I was like, yeah, if we get to this top, I should look short. Now, the problem is I was like 385 because I was rounding it up, but it's actually 384 and change. The issue with it being 384 and change is it might have done the dump that I was looking for at 385 at 384. Don't need the line there. So there's a really good chance the sell that I was waiting for might have happened. It's not necessarily $1 early because I don't think it actually had that 385 top. Let's be real. But that was pretty insane. It was pretty insane. Pretty insane. I can regret not looking at that chart a little tighter and been willing to just short the first even dollar because that was a great retracement at a monster level on the weekly. And now if it gets there again, do I want to stand in front of a freight train if it gets back to this top? My general answer is how about no? So I'm not going to do it. And Angry Bear says, you know what's crazy, Angry Bear? My Yahoo email address is very similar to that. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. Neil, keeping it real, emotions prevent good trades. I tend to, it's all well and good while you're in the trade, but when you're making the trade or when you're making the decision,
Right.
At a decision-making point, you don't want to have emotion involved. When you're chilling out, it's like it's in the money, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, it's fine. What difference does it make? But when you're at a decision-making point, it's at a key price level, it's at an entry point, like you want to be chilled. And like the bigger that moment is, the more chill you want to be. You don't want to be freaking out when 500 breaks on NVIDIA. Yeah. Because then you'll fumble it, you'll keystroke error that stuff. Like you don't want to be that guy. Chill vibes, why is save up? Because they're exploring other options and they're appealing the decision. They're appealing the decision to break up the deal. That's essentially why save's up, chill vibes. But yeah, Meta, if it gets to 84, I'll probably wait for it to break that and look for an 85 short. I think you've already had the best pullback you're going to get.
Yeah, strong trend along with the market. A bit of a multi-day mover here on the Meta bid. If you do look back on the hourly or anything a little bit longer, again, we've been only bidding up since the low lows, down in the 88s. There, we kind of covered this. We're getting more of that strength today, and previous all-time highs, 384.33. Today's highs, 380, actually, what is it at? It's at 383. Right now, current price is at 383 halves. And I think it is printing high. So we're only about a point away from that price there, and super strong. Along with the rest of the market, we broke through 17.4, Neil. Like this 400, this all-time high on Meta. A lot of these other names as well. Definitely be watching for those levels to come in. Like we said at the open today, definitely going to be some interesting price action going into a Friday, and it seems like the squeeze is real.
All right, Apple, strong again, back to the upside. I was just reading Bloomberg reporting right now. They see surgery training as the biggest future, one of the biggest future for the Vision Pro. And I think training in general will be huge with that technology. Flying a plane or driving a truck or heavy equipment, anything along those lines. But yeah, Bloomberg just with a note there saying Apple sees surgery training as the future of Vision Pro, or one of them anyways.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this product does. Looks like it might be available by the end of February. Maybe Brendo mentioned this morning there might be some delays in getting this product to market. It's not going to be one that you're just going to be able to pick up from the App Store. You're going to have to get it fitted to fit yourself and whoever else is going to use it. We'll have to wait and see how it does. A $3,500 price point, though, Brendo. I don't know what the market's like. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but it was, what was it, $286 or something like that a month if you want to finance it for a year. So, I don't know. Pass.
286. See, this is the thing. Brennan doesn't finance anything. Straight cash, homie. Like, Brennan's the kind of dude, guaranteed. Like, you can see, like, basically, just look at Brennan at the desk, and you know he's the guy that just walks in, and he pulls out the wad, takes off the rubber band, slaps it down on the desk, and just, they're like, we don't take cash here, sir. He says, yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
And the rubber band,
take that rubber band. Clearly, that's obviously how he rolls. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm just not going to get it because I'm not in the Apple ecosystem. That'll be my pops. But Apple, I said earlier, like, how could it be a better day? How could a good day be a better day? Well, when you look at my Apple chart, you'll begin to understand why. First position on, position we didn't hold. Sometimes it be like that. got the dip buy into yesterday's close, scalped it early, had the 190 a couple times. There were some moves up, but this is the best way to exemplify how nasty this move is to the upside. So I got some longs on, but this is the one. That's the one that we should have been still in. I was trying to, what the heck is that wick? Yeah, apologies about that wick. I'm sure it'll go away at some point. So I wanted to get to back here. So if you look at the last failure that the stock had when it went a little bit more bearish, this close is right about the 192, like 192 and change. So you've got a pretty decent resistance level forming at the 192 and change. I think if this is going to turn around, it's probably in and around that level. So it's got a little bit to push. It could break the 192. I think it's like 192.30 or something was that close. So if it could break 192, then I would look for a turn. Just a bit of housekeeping here. I just got some more out of Micron. This is creeping to 88. I think 87.5 to 88. And then if 88 breaks, there's room to maybe add to it. So I'm just looking for the stairs to the upside on these chip names. But, if I thought that missing out on Apple, the second part of Apple was bad, it's not as bad as missing out on all of the part of Intel today. Look at the liquidity grab that all of these chips, remember this, we saw this on AMD, we saw this on NVIDIA, you saw it with SMCI, Intel did exactly, huge liquidity grab underneath 47 and then just straight up. It's almost at $49. Now, all you can do is move on. What is the next trade? Like, you cannot take the trade that you had before, so I'm pivoting here because it's actually almost at 49. Like, this is all the way back to it's January 8th. That's the highest it's been on the year, obviously, because it kind of opened the year here and then faded it. So I think 48.8, and then this peak here at just about 49 and change. Intel's close to a turning spot. If it breaks out 49, it probably gets to 50, but it's at that TSN turning point. I know it's just a calendar year, but that's a pretty key level coming up here in Intel. I don't see any entries for myself in Apple because of that 192 top-ish. I don't want to be buying tops. I need to see like some dip buys.
Yeah, I'm just kind of staring at the tape here on Softy. Bit of a seller chasing down, but you know what, the guy's gone, so we'll come back to that one after. But yeah, Apple's super strong on the day here. I was talking to Neil about some peculiar price action confluenced with some RVOL over the past couple of days here. Again, you can see this, what is it? I think it was on a 30-minute, very, very distinct kind of grindy action here. Pretty much linear all day on the 30-minute chart. So definitely somebody, in my opinion, somebody significant buying it up. If every single 30-minute candle on the day is in a straight line like that, and then next day, bit of a tinfoil hat. We gap up about 5 points and hold 185s, and we're continuing towards those highs past that 190 with a very strong market tailwind, right? But it's not all-time highs. Apple has been here. We were literally here at the end of December. Some strong selling pressure coming through underneath this 192 that was holding as a bit of resistance turns support. Let's see if that resistance turns support turns back into resistance here at that 192, or we just kind of continue our way up into that 200 that we're all waiting for. I think everything else has pretty much broken its all-time highs. Apple kind of lagging behind. Maybe this is poised for that push through 200 in the next coming weeks.
Wayfair ends up being pretty disappointing today. We did get a huge gap to the upside this morning on a couple of different reasons, but end of the day, it was all about the short percent. Still, last I checked anyways, in the 20% kind of a range. As soon as the market opens, though, this morning, it's just been downside ever since.
Yeah, Brendo kept rejecting off VWAP from the downside. Somebody asked me about this during the midday, and I said, no, this was definitely not a long, and it continues to hover above that $55 area. In case you're wondering why this is moving today, sadly, they are cutting about 13% of their workforce, which amounts to about 1,650 employees. They already cut a lot between 2022 and now, saving about $280 million off their balance sheet.
Still, though, positive for the session, guys. A ton of volume behind this move today as well.
It's still up 9%. I had 3 separate potential setups for Wayfair, and none of them happened. So it's pretty clear to see 60 break never happened because it's a squeeze type name. Like Wayfair short float, I want to say 24% short float, or I don't know, it's just an estimate, it could be anything. But it's close to that, it's over 20%. So breakout 60, get some shorts scared, or if it had done a dip right in here off the previous high, which you can zoom in, yeah, when it got into that previous high, 57.5, was there any buying? Nope, so I'm not going long. There was nobody buying, so I'm not gonna be the person that tries. And then I looked for this bottom 53 to 53.5. Does it get down there for a dip? Nope, didn't happen, so no trade. That's the thing about trading. You can, just because a stock is in play and it has what you're looking for in terms of, you know, maybe volume, catalyst, and all that good stuff, there still has to be an actual trade in there somewhere. So if you have a trade setup that you're looking for and it never happens, that just doesn't mean you trade Wayfair by making it up on the fly. Like, there was just nothing, and that's sort of the thing. It's so easy, and I've seen lots of traders do this, where a stock is in play, they just want to be trading that stock. It doesn't do any setups, or it doesn't have anything that resembles a setup for how they would trade, but they're trading it anyways. And that's what Wayfair could have been today because of the gap up, but thankfully it wasn't. It didn't show anything to me. And so Wayfair did not have just what I needed today.
Yeah, pretty strong shot here off the 50 and then landing right here on the fairway. Wayfair is looking pretty strong on top of this 55 and holding as of right now. A bit of a 50% retracement back down. But yeah, nothing really here. I think, again, a lot of the focus on the day on some of these other names. But yeah, with this kind of RVOL in the pre-market, I'm definitely sure that a lot of traders are interested in this trade here today. 40x RVOL in the pre-market and then averaging above a 5x all day. So definitely doing some liquidity on the day here, Wayfair.
All right, green to red in a hurry, or red to green, I should say, in a hurry here for some of these Chinese ADRs playing some catch up about midday today. There really wasn't anything significant that seemed to cause this. It was just all of a sudden they all kind of went at the same time, and then just as fast kind of died down at the same time again, and have done nothing but go sideways. So money, a buy program gets turned on for 15 minutes or so, and then that's it.
And I have no idea, because we're still looking for it. The ADRs did not participate. Li Auto, XPEV, NEO, they didn't move up. It was the JDs, the PDDs, the BABAs. Brendo, today BABA dipped below its IPO price, believe it or not, of 68 bucks. So definitely finding some support there now as it's at 69 and change.
And it could be, let's be honest, something as simple as that. You
Yeah.
know, someone, market maker or something, you know, with a mandate to get this thing back above that $68 range, because now that I look at it, yeah, it's 2 days now this week that has happened. We gap below that $68 level and then just go straight up. So interesting for BABA.
Well, the other interesting thing was what happened. Like, there was, if you were watching in the middle of the day, I think you probably observed the buy pattern program that just got turned on at just after noon here. So that's Alibaba. Just to make sure that you guys know it wasn't just Alibaba. That's Pinduoduo at the exact same time. I'll give one more for you, maybe JD. JD, well, you get the idea, so I can just show you this last one. Really, 42 Affirm? I can't believe I'm 42. There's JD.com. I'm gonna come right. I'll get right back to this, but Affirm's at 42. I'm gonna be honest with you. List of things that I did not see happening today, and there's a lot of them. There are a lot of things I didn't see happening today. But I'll promise you, Affirm 42 was at the top of the list. So I'm short here. But there was a note on that Chinese. Overnight, there was a story, the major Chinese broker mentioning that they were not going to allow shorts and selling on unlisted securities. And it was one broker, and it was overnight, yet somehow people are attributing that move to that reaction. I had 2 trades in BABA, one dip buy, another higher low dip buy. I think maybe the long off 69 looks good, but let's go back to Brendo.
It wasn't much of a move on this, but guys, just be aware, DOJ and FTC both pushing to investigate Microsoft's OpenAI partnership. That's from Politico right now, so a little bit of a dip there for Softy.
Interesting. So intraday news on Softy.
You're long it, so
I'm watching it. I mean, let's see if there's any sort of reaction. No, there's no tape action off of that. Nothing crazy as of right now, but maybe it'll be delayed. It's a little sideways. Like, here's the thing. Like, I pieced off of it a bit here just in front of that 197, 397s there on Softy. I was like, this is a little bit of a distinctive tape here. kind of starting to slow down. It hasn't really broken trend, but yeah, we are kind of slowing down here. But yeah, I'm just patiently waiting. Let's see what it'll do. But like I said, I was talking about this earlier. Like, I got to get better at following my plan. I tried this trade multiple times. 1, 2, 3, and I was like, yeah, I know I got a 3-strike rule, but when I see that lick grab of 394, I gotta be involved. And then it starts actually following some of the plans there. 395 plus a VWAP hold, very, very clean, and then 397 test. Like, it's not like I just have to have a little bit more patience and let that kind of come to me and show itself there. That 395, more failures to follow throughs that happened there, along with a little bit of a lick grab of VWAP as well. Again, with market tailwind. So it worked out, got a little lucky there, but Meta pushing for those highs once again, 384 potentially coming in as well. But yeah, some of those China names, that was a very interesting kind of pop that we had on BABA. And then as soon as this pop came, Neil, literally a few minutes later, our market started moving very aggressively as well. Like, this was what, 12. Take care, Sharif. Have a good one. 12:15ish is when that move comes in. Let's say about 12, right? 12 o'clock. And take a look at the NQs here in and around 11, right? 11:15. That's where that bid comes up. This chart is an hour behind, but yeah. So that's very interesting that that aggressive buying, one way or another. I don't know who it is. I don't really want to speculate too much, but that buying pressure, that behavior came in one market after another, kind of on the Chinese names and then our names.
What we should say is there's a question here, Thomas W. Can you explain once more how you define and identify a liquidity grab? So a wise person once told me, when you want to if you want to explain something which can be complex in the most simple way, find an extreme example of it, and that'll usually exemplify the point. So the most extreme example I can find would be pick any of the chip names at the open. Now, I'll use SMCI. So SMCI, you can see it's gapping higher. I could put up Intel, maybe I'll show that one second. Some gapping higher. You'd see it selling off in the pre-market. Now look at the so obviously this is $350 where it was kind of doing nothing, and then it kind of sold off of the $350 level. It's then into the open, creeping up to 350, which is clearly and obviously a big psychological level, right? Like, I think we can all agree $350 is a big deal. It opens up, tries to break it out, and then immediately there's selling under, it just immediately rejects the 250 break. Like, the first thing that happens is it breaks, it opens at 348-ish, and then rejects a 350 break and slams down, breaking the pre-market low. I was watching this stock when this happened. By the time I broke the pre-market low, got alerted, looked over, by the time I called it up and it was at 341, I blinked a couple of times. You can watch the morning show if you want to see it happen live. Blinked a couple of times and it was back at 47. That's a liquidity grab. Run stops at 350, run stops at the low of the day, do tons of volume underneath that price, spend no time there. Basically meaning every single person that was selling down here was getting insta-filled. Like, you're putting stops were running underneath, people are putting sell orders in under 350, like, oh my gosh, it's gonna fill in the gap, I gotta sell, take my profit, and they're getting met with instant buying. That's grabbing liquidity under 350, and then it goes higher. The same thing happened on Intel today, just a little bit more extreme. The same thing happened on NVIDIA today at the open, liquidity grab. I mean, this is a nasty one. Failed the 580 level and then holds the closing price from the previous day. Huge liquidity grab underneath. It was a little bit more, let's just say, stable after the bounce on NVIDIA, whereas on SMCI, it was very instant. And those are a lot of times, hindsight's going to be 20/20. I don't really trade SMCI. I've done it like twice in 3 years. Those a lot of times, that's a really good entry point. When the liquidity grab happens under 350, the long breaking back out above that top can be very good because the buyers have been identified. So anyways, that's just a quick little explanation for that. We are done the rundown. I'm going to go to Affirm. How is Affirm at $42 and why isn't it tanking? Okay, so first things first, if Affirm breaks 42, I'm out. If it breaks 42 and fails 42 again, I might try it again. But I'm not gonna try to get shorts above the 42 level unless, here. If it breaks 42, I needed at least checking into the 42.5. So I'm in the short.
Whoa,
I'm not
what's
reloading
happening?
Micron. What just happened?
The tanking.
Yeah, Micron was just chilling a second ago, and I just got that little wick down. So I don't know if I want to reload Micron. The only short that I could find that I really liked was Affirm, but Uber, which was the next thing I was going to go to. This was cruising and just did this wick, broke the high of the day, now coming right back in. Like, Uber has been absolutely fantastic. If you take the breakout trade was okay, the dip buy off VWAP has been, I mean, that's about as obvious as you're ever going to get. Like, look at, like, there's your trend up, bounce off VWAP, bounce off VWAP, bounce off VWAP, trend back up in the afternoon. That's what that trade is pretty much going to look like when it works. So, yeah, just having a quick look at this market, it's holding these highs. Affirm's the only short I see up here that I'm remotely interested in. And there's probably others, but you kind of go back to the well with something that worked for you before.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lick grab happened again near the tops there. If you guys were observing some of this action here, I was like, oh, Softy popped up above. Actually, I got to get out of some of this first. All right, so Softy popped up above 397. All right, we're good to go. Pushes those highs, 397.20s, and then I look over. Instantly, we're printing 396 halves, and I'm like, okay, oh boy, I don't want to be kind of too long here on some of these names here, but again, like I said, not holding too much from those 94s as we pieced off most of it right there at the 97s. But I got to do much better.
This is your slacking, dude.
Slacking on what? Slack-a-lacking?
The count is at 7.
Okay, all right, okay.
I was trying to get him to say "oh boy" again, but like, God forbid you'd fall for that one. I don't know. You guys watch the show. You know Obi says, "oh boy." So I got him at 7. But he was on track for at least a dozen or 15, and then he slowed the pace down. So we need to pick this back up.
We're just getting started. It's been 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes since the closing show.
See, but now you're just not saying it on purpose. Let's take care of some business up at the desk. Back with Brendo.
If you haven't done so, make sure you take advantage of this, especially heading into the weekend. Great opportunity to do some homework and some back testing and level up with this. AI entry and exit signals from Trade Ideas. Enter to win $2,400 up here. Hard to see, but trust me when I say. On an Amazon gift card, use the code bottom right corner right now. Scan that QR code. Use TraderTV20 to get 20% off. Shout out to our friends, as always, over at Trade Ideas.
You saw, like, they had those symbols up there, like the symbols to watch today. You notice SMCI was there? Still the undisputed champion of, okay, there's probably something up more than 35% that's a smaller company, but this is, like, it's completely insane what the stock is doing. I'm not going to even think about or try shorting it. It doesn't have a ton of liquidity. There was a couple of people in the chat saying, J&J was, have a look at that. I just can't. I don't know, when tech is doing this, it's hard to look, it's not even a bad trending stock. Like, that's, who's gonna argue with this? It's higher lows the entire day, it's trying to take out those highs. The problem for me is where are you gonna get the explosion in the last 90 minutes on a stock that's flat when the healthcare sector in the general sense and consumer, what are the two things lagging? Healthcare and like consumer like staples. Like, I think Procter's not having a good day, and UNH isn't having a good day, and Pepsi's not having a good day, Coke's not having a good day. Why would I expect J&J to be leading the pack? If we're going to make another step higher, I kind of think it should be a little bit more. It's a possible sleeper stock in the long term. It's holding the 200 period now, but as a trade today, I'm not really seeing it. Just going back to what I am in, someone asked why dump. I don't necessarily think the market's going to dump.
Profit taking.
I think Affirm at 42 is a bit much. But I thought Affirm at 40 was a good trade. So there's me shorting Affirm at 97 and stopping out when it broke 10s. This is me shorting the same setup here, although it wasn't at 41. So I'll stop a failings because I said this morning I'd wait till $41. If it didn't fail 40 again, which I never really liked the entries there, I would wait until it got to 41. This is a turn at 40.90 that I kind of shorted here at 70s. Thankfully, I didn't hold it to the high of the day. But now we're starting to work into the downside. Why randomly put an order at 40s when I can get out some in front of 50s? Come on, hit the bid. It's like hit the bid, hit it, do it. Yeah, it's okay. There we go. Affirm is that trade. If you wait for the key levels to fade it, since about the middle of December, it works 80% of the time. It works 100% of the time. Just short the pops on Affirm. You know what's up.
Yeah, that Uber with a nasty pullback there. Good reason I got most of it out there in the 65.30s there. Sorry, 20s. I was like, oh, we're actually pushing. Okay, well, I don't really like this either.
What the heck? Oh,
yeah,
man.
just 1 second. Let me just. I gotta cancel this.
I'm still in the last of my Uber too.
Yeah,
I took some out at the high of the day before that wick.
I don't want that.
I'm holding on to the last 10%, and I'm asking myself why I didn't just cover up here at 25. The thing about it's holding VWAP so well.
Yeah, that's very true.
I had told myself this has to at least break 65, if not VWAP, not to give it more of a chance. The thing about Uber and why I want to give it this chance is look at this. This is 65, that double top, the trend. Like it could easily, like why not have a shot at 66? But the market is pulling back in here. So if it breaks VWAP, you got to dump that sucker. Meta, wherefore art thou? It looks like 384 and not 385 is the jam. You heard me say, oh, I'm not gonna. Like that guy, that dude who was like, don't short the 384 level, wait for 385, should fire him. He's an idiot. I don't know, he's incredibly a handsome dude, but you should definitely fire him for saying don't short 384. Meta, that was a clear top. It's a big, massive double top on the weekly. I said this morning I was going to short that high, and then we're not in it. We're just in Affirm. So, yeah, it happens to you. Pranya saying, look at Alibaba.
Baba.
Yeah, it's not really
holding.
It's holding the top. This is wild. I mean, I should have dip bought this at 69 again. I don't think we see that price. Maybe a 70 break on Baba, but you're running out of time. If this doesn't take 70 by power hour, then you have to go for like some kind of a scalp trade. When in doubt, zooming out. The reason I say should have been long 69 again, when in doubt, zoom out. 2 days in a row, we had a 69 top. So when it went crazy to the upside, where was I buying the first dip? Buy it at 69. So you should have done I should have done the exact same thing. I'm not saying you guys should. I should have gone right back to that 69 level because it worked the first time. Instead, I was thinking trend up, hold on to like higher lows, and that got me away from the stock by changing what I was looking to do, which is buy off 69. I instead shifted to let's buy trend and buy higher lows. Once it didn't make a higher low, I got out of the stock. See, the difference there is like your good level and your reason to be in is the 69 holding. It's like Uber. Like I didn't stray from buying the VWAP on Uber by trying to buy higher lows. Just once it was no longer a 65 break, just stick to what was working, which was buying VWAP, previous close price. If you do that on Alibaba, you're still long at 69. Now I don't want to touch this thing at the high of the day. Like I'm not trying to buy the high of the day. Maybe a 70 break, but not buying it here at 69.60, 69.70. Looks like it's too far away there. No way, yeah, tube. Funds at 26. Oh, why didn't I hold that? Yeah, I should.
Oh wow. What's the next trade?
I know. It's like look at my trail.
You had a trail on that, right?
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. My trail out is the exact point that you should have started buying again. Sometimes it's like that.
It's like I don't know. I've been reading a lot about like how some of the best places to be are where you might think stops are.
No, that's 100% true.
And it's like again, but there's a few traders in Market Wizards that kind of talk about like if they've had floor experience, one of the big things that they learn is where traders put their stops. That's a huge informational edge. And I mean,
that's actually.
So it's something I'm realizing more and more. I'm just making a statement. It's just I'm realizing more and more where it's like, okay, well, you can see it happen where it's like, this is a reasonable place to risk. Like it's a logical place to risk. And then you see that price action kind of finds those areas, clips them out, and then kind of recovers and reverts back and kind of look at this softy ripping right back up into 397. I'm like, okay, well, all right, do your thing. First red candle. If you're shorting on the first red candle on both the NQ and the ES, Oh boy, we are super strong on the day. So I don't know if that's really a thing. And then kind of the action is showing itself as the bid catches right back on Softy here. Let's see. That's a pretty strong recovery there of that strong flush. I was like, okay, well, we lick grabbed this 397.2 and then dropped right back into 396, about a point of a flush. But yeah, we've been trending up since market open. Right? We had some of the best prices come in right off of the opening reaction low at 933. That was the best price on the day for Softy, right? So it's absolutely wild. We're continuing to push up. Let's see if that 400 comes into play. We got about an hour and 20 minutes left to trade. Let me know what you guys are trading. Have you guys dabbled in the Softy? Have you guys dabbled in the Baba? Or even the SPY. The SPY all-time highs as well, right? So a lot of fresh price action that we're experiencing today.
Just buy anything that isn't Tesla today.
Oh yeah.
And you're good.
Yeah, what's up with that? A little bit of an inverse relationship.
Tesla is actually, Tesla will be green in, I don't know, like a few pennies. It's a 0.17% to the downside on Tesla. PayPal's absolutely flying. I haven't traded that one. DVDR, I'm just going to call you DVD. Is that cool? Is Max on the breakout AMD trade? I don't know. If I yell really loud, maybe he'll say yes or no. Is Max sitting down? I can't see. Are you on the AMD? Yeah, buddy. He just said. Why are you wearing a toque? Anyways, doesn't matter. It's like I'm when it's so hot in here. I'm actually wearing my short sleeves. Why do you have a toque on, Max? If you know what though, whatever keeps you in the zone, man. If you got to have your toque on, and that's like a legitimate Canadian toque, Affirm just broke 42 because obviously, like what the hell?
It gets a little chilly in here, I got to admit. Like,
yeah, but not right now, it's not.
Yeah.
But, anyway.
But the thing is, up here with all the lights, it does get hot, but like in that row, it gets super chilly.
The lights don't make it any hotter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the airflow here. It's always too hot or too cold. It would be easy to say this ridiculous bank of lights that we have on us, which is the entire reason I have to wear makeup so you guys aren't blinded by the shine, which is still there, by the way. Wait till I start shaving my head, and then you guys will be really pissed off if I don't put the makeup on. But yeah, he is in the AMD long. He said, yeah, buddy, AMD is going absolutely nuts. Where the heck is NVIDIA? Doing nothing. I just got trailer. You know what? Micron, okay, so maybe Micron's a short, and I should have sniffed out. Because as those are breaking higher, like I trailed out of the Micron long, which is probably a good idea, and it's looking suddenly a little bit weak. So AMD's strong. Affirm, as I mentioned, broke 42. It's like, yeah, let's go short Affirm. And then Affirm breaks out the top. Okay, so what did I say about this? If it breaks 42, I'm not fighting it over that price until it gets to 40. I will not try it until it tests 42 and a half. I still believe it can turn, but I'm just not gonna be stubborn with that. Alphabet Alphabet looks weak as well. Look at that. Down at VWAP when the market's at highs, might have something to pick on a little bit easier here. Because as far as I'm concerned, like the market we're close to 2% and it's in pullback mode. So while you're breaking out at AMD, like show me what's not going right now, and those could be your potential as the market takes some profit. Those could be your sell spots. So Google, that's a good call. Micron's starting to feel that way to me. Uber is still holding on to VWAP. It didn't quite get there. So I didn't reload Uber because it didn't get there. Simple as that. It goes another 10 cents. I probably get that long, but that's what I was watching for that last little dip because it was working out for me. Oh yeah, I'm still in Spirit Airlines. It's just not doing anything.
Yeah, that save has been pretty interesting.
I don't know, man. Like the thing about it is, look at the chart of Spirit Airlines. It hasn't given me a reason to get out, even with a tighter stop, and it's just literally not moving. So I'm not adding to this position. I'm not getting out till it breaks 680. If it decides to squeeze higher, I'll probably throw an offer if it gets to like 750 or something. It's just doing you can see just going sideways. I didn't expect that out of Spirit today. I thought there'd be a little bit more price action, but here's what it is. Like just because I got in the trade, I got a couple of wins in there, and I'm holding on to some. But if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. 384 on Meta. If it goes there 3 times, I have a rule about a key price level. Well, if you didn't short it the first 2 times, you definitely shouldn't short it the 3rd time when it's a strong stock. Because the 3rd time, if it gets there, it should break. So this wick high is 384.07. So I was wrong not shorting it the second time. We'll see if I'm wrong not shorting it a third time here on Meta. But that's what just my own personal experience usually tells me to do, so I'm not going to do it.
Bit of a change in behavior here on Mara today. Kind of this is the first time I'm noticing it. We've been selling off since those ETFs kind of came out. Bit of a sell the news event. We've been slow and steady, kind of a grind down. Sure, in the morning you've had some shakeouts, some lick grabs on a larger time frame, but the overall picture, the overall bigger picture trade has been the sell the news on the fade. But take a look at this bit of distinct difference in behavior today, where you hold the 15, 14 and some change, 1462s, and this is the first day where you sell off and then you rebid back through the open, back through above pre-market highs later on in the day. Since the sell-off, we haven't really had that kind of behavior, and 15 is a bit of a psychological level as well. Taking a look left, bit of support here in and around above that 14 level as well. So I think this is an interesting look. I've been watching for that potential capitulation move on this fade here. It was kind of overextended, pushing all the way up into 30s, while Bitcoin was doing absolutely nothing that would warrant this kind of move on.
So what in the who now?
On Mara?
Bitcoin, like today?
No. Overall, like Bitcoin was going sideways, and Mara was continuing to bid up all the way into the 30s.
But now
you have that correction, you have that reversion back in. But yeah.
So Tesla's green. That's it was green like 2 seconds ago. It got green. Now it's like 0.03 to the downside. But 42,000. If 42,000 breaks, maybe you get some more squeeze action there on Mara. I think that's what I'd be looking for, because if you're not tracking BTC, this is a 15-minute. I can throw like a 3-minute chart up there for you, get a better idea of the double top here. So it's at resistance on Bitcoin, been trading higher. If you want to use IBIT or GBTC, fair enough. When I'm tracking Bitcoin and looking at the chart, I still use good old-fashioned, right now trading, we used to use Binance charts. These are better. 42,000 to the upside. If that breaks, I think I'd look for some breakout longs. Maybe, whether it's Mara, there's Mara here. Like, look at the trend up. Like, you're pretty much, afternoon resistance was here at 1640. So if we break that, I think longs off the 1630s to 40s would make a lot of sense. It's just, if it goes sideways, that's almost better. Sideways into Bitcoin breaking 42 this afternoon would give you a great long. And if you're looking at Coinbase as well, just, sort of like a pick your poison kind of deal, then you got the 125 setting up for Coinbase. AMD was AMD was just at 170.50. Like, it did this consolidation 170.50. Hi, look at me. I was in a breakout trade at AMD that didn't work. Sometimes the best trade you make is not holding on to it or averaging into it. I'll leave it at that. I love to me, it's like, you lost on a breakout trade. That's what I want a losing trade to look like. I'm in, it doesn't work, I'm out. I'm not here, I'm not here. If you're here, great. Because the crazy thing about it is, if you dip buy, you go long breakout, 166.5. And if it breaks 170.50, I'm gonna get into this break here. If it breaks there, you average in, average in, average in. You hold it all day long, it actually works. The reason why it should be obvious why that's not a good thing to do, but the actual reason why that's no good is because if it breaks lower and gets to 160, you're in like a crazy maximum position where you're like 3 or 4x what you intended to risk, and you lose it all because you have the max amount when it goes to the bottom. Now, if it gets to the top, there's 0% chance that I haven't covered all the way up. So I'm going to have min size, like 10, 15% when it gets to the top, and max size when it breaks that absolute bottom. And that's how one trade or one loss can be your worst loss of the day, worst loss of the week, all that stuff. If you want to go dip buy hunting, that's a different trade from a breakout trade. Because the dip buy was actually into the previous close. And if you were doing that dip buy, goes into previous close, holds, there's your higher low, that's an entry point. So I'm in like a continuation breakout trade right now, which is it broke 170, got to 170.5. That's a bad stop. What am I doing? Bad trigger. There. So bad trigger, you actually just saw me put in like $17 instead of $170, but that's a better mistake to make. But bad trigger on the outs, what I was about to say is the continuation long is it breaks out, pulls back, holds the higher low, get in offset higher low and give it to that wick. But then I realized I had a bad stop, so I will get out for a small hit and then go back into it and place the stop correctly this time. So the continuation of the breakout, which this was the topic of the midday. So you break out a level, the previous breakout price holds its support, there's your dip, it holds its support, enter into the long and try to play the trend into the upside. So if you miss a breakout trade, there's always something else you can do with it, which is continue to join said trend. Affirm is still at 42.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Neil, don't do it. It's so tempting to just, hey, look, it's got some red candles. Affirm has 3 red candles. Go short. No, Neil, no. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's gonna work now. That's probably how it works.
Yeah, that pull of the void is very very tempting at times for sure. And I'm kind of realizing I gotta stay a little bit more patient. And even though the price action can be enticing, I'm finding that sometimes I like to take a look at it as like it's like marketing, right? Just like any market, it's like the chart. Sometimes the pre-market can just be marketing. Again, we talk about bigger players kind of pushing things around to kind of get their fills in or get their ins and outs. And a lot of the times that pre-market action or even intraday action definitely smells a lot like marketing for sure. And it's a fugazi. Like that's what it is. It's a trap. You draw out the price action that traders are used to executing on, and then that's why I love the tape. It's just like sometimes you can kind of see past that on the tape. You can be like, well, the chart's printing one thing, but the tape doesn't look healthy at all. So I don't necessarily want to be involved.
Reliable Rudy has some advice for me apparently. So I'm gonna. Hey, it's all
What's
good.
he saying?
What I love about this is that like we'll talk openly about, well, obviously what we're trading as day traders, but every now and then we'll mention like things that we're doing in our personal accounts. So everyone would have heard me say that I bought Pfizer off its pandemic low, and it's been a dumpster fire, that stock. I'll get to the chart in a second, but Reliable Rudy is telling me to sell crappy Pfizer in your portfolio, send it into BABA, hold for 150 before you sell a single share. Thank me later. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend too, Reliable Rudy. Now remember we were talking about this whole no short selling, blah, blah, blah,
right,
for the single broker. I've actually been strongly considering getting into BABA again. I'll tell you this right now, I'm not selling the Pfizer position to do, no, it doesn't make any sense. I can just put new money to Alibaba. I tried Alibaba longs a couple times in the last 2 years. Once I lost 10%, the other time I lost 20%. And they were both like swing ideas. I wasn't really looking to hold it for the long term. This is a good bottom. Like, it's not the bottom. I would have been, if it had gone down into the 60s, I know I was going to buy 60s if it had gone back down there again. But I've been looking for a spot to take a shot here. My gut's been telling me to wait for a close above 70. So I'm not, I don't care if I don't get something in the 60s. Until it closes back above 70, I'm just not going to do it. I'd much rather buy here, see them finally break back above the bottom and trend up, where I can maybe take something like a 71s. Yeah, sure, I'm risking a bit more. But that's fine. I don't mind the notion. I understand the logic behind it. This is not a horrible start for a catalyst either. But yeah, I'm not in it right now. I was in it previously. Now Affirm's underneath 40. See? Now it looks like it would be pretty good. Affirm. It's easy. That's easy to say. Like, if I just sit there, I could have easily just fought this right into here at the quarters, taken another short that'd be in the money. And a lot of times I do that and it works. But I'm trying to stick to the rules here on Affirm. And it's frustrating because you get FOMO when you look at this and it's like, yeah, I got out. If I just jump right back in, you get all of it back and then you can hold to 41.5. But that's a good way to get into trouble.
Yeah, I'm just watching that Google here. You were pointing out how it was looking weak on top of VWAP, and I was like, well, yeah, it is looking a little weak on VWAP. We've made lower highs, but a bit of a distinct hold of VWAP as well observed on the tape. And we're holding as of right now. Let me just pull up the VWAP here. Yeah, take a look at that. Pretty clean structure there, holding above opening range highs, and then now that's confluencing with a little bit of VWAP hold as well above the 145 half. So we already kind of lick grabbed that 145 half with this nasty candle. Look at that volume on the 15-minute on the lick grab of that price range right there. You rebid on top of VWAP, and since then we've only been holding on top of VWAP in a very strong market here. So I did kind of look at this name here. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to get in here, I'm risking in the 50s, kind of getting in 60s and 70s, but a 10, 15 penny risk for taking it back up near these highs for a potential push. But it pops into the 80s and the 90s. I'm like, well, I don't want to pay 10 cents more, but it seems like it's going on right now on Google. And oh boy, Amazon. I got to follow my plan, Neil.
8.
I missed the plan on Amazon yesterday as well. It wasn't my top plan, and neither was it today, but it seems like it's working quite well in and around this 153. So yesterday I was trying to short 153 halves. The high a day was 153.70s. Initially I wanted to get long, but then when I observed this kind of action, I was like, no. I'm gonna change that up. I do want to get short 153 halves, risk about 10 to 15 pennies, and take it back down into this lower end of this range here. That missed that trade. Coming in today,
I got worse for you though.
I'm like continuing. I literally write down 153 half over under. We saw what it did yesterday, but if we can get above, this is pretty distinct. If we can get and hold above, get long. If we hold below, get short with the sellers, because there's clearly some selling going on, and I don't know if they're going to be in today, but clearly they stepped off.
The best part about that is that when he's saying that, keep the chart up here. There's never a setup for the short. Like, it never gives you an entry to the short.
Today, right?
Today.
Yeah.
The only entries it gives you off that 153 half over under are 2 long setups.
Yeah.
Right? It gives you a couple of consolidation dips, higher low long setups, and that's what you mean. Like, it's not to say that you have to take the short when it breaks an even price level. Does the trade set up? Yeah. But I'm going to slap the fail on. Look, every trader should take responsibility for their own actions and their own plan and their own ideas. However, in this particular case, Renata Haddad in the chat, I'm like G-Money, Renata, and everyone that's talking about Palantir, Jeff, who's talking about Palantir, I'm placing the blame off of you, myself, who drew fat line in front of 16 for the dip buy this week and then didn't do it today. So I'm going to take the blame off of myself here, and I'm going to place the blame solely on you, the viewers. Or not. No, that's a Simpsons joke. Kent Brockman does that. He's like, and at the risk of sounding incredibly unpopular, I place the blame solely on you, the viewer. To take responsibility for your own trade. The fail's on me. I drew a fat line here on Palantir for the dip buy. Distracted by a lot of things, with a lot of things moving today. It didn't quite get there. But look at this. There is not a red candle on Palantir since this bottom at noon. So but the thing is, if you notice that trend, I didn't. So if you notice that trend, there was still an entry above 1645. So you could still be in this, joining it up here. Now, would I ever buy, in a situation like this, 257, would I buy that top? Probably needed to see it break out the pre-market high or dip down into 16.5 to get me in. Otherwise, like, I'll stick to something like AMD here, right? Like AMD, you can't really see.
AMD's
go back
still
to 3 minute. Now I got to zoom in here. Oh, goodness, AMD. Now we can go back. There we go. AMD's now still going. So, yeah, keystroke error, blah, blah, in and out flat, got right back in again. Scalp some. Now we're going to try to hold for 171. If 171 breaks, I'm looking for an add on the 171 break and then probably trail it to 80s. Like, I want to add higher and then see if I can trail it. Because, like, every 50 cents and every dollar, I'm just going to treat as a thing until proven otherwise. You don't have, there's not much else to go off of. You can go for dip buy consolidations. You can go for like breakouts of even dollars when it's trending like this. And if you're already in position going into the 171, when it breaks, you're going to end up with an average price obviously underneath 170. So it allows you to add on the break, but not necessarily lose overall on the trade. So if I would have put a trailing stop on a 171 anyways, that's one of the reasons I like to do that. And this is something that actually Max, I didn't really do this. I never used to really do this, but it's something that Max was talking about. It's like, well, you're going to put a trailing stop anyways at that price. Once it breaks 171, I'm going to slap a trail, whether it gets to 10s and 20s first. So might as well add to it and then put the same trail you would have put on anyways. Because it just treat it as a different trade. It's the same stop you would have used. So once it breaks, I'm going to move my stop from here to like about here. But it has to break first. Meta making power moves. For those still watching Tesla, my orders are ready there. Tesla is still battling red to green, green to red, all that stuff. Just if it holds above 212, I think this could really go. But it's not, see how it's just not holding above that key 212 level? Until there's buyers above that price, I'm staying away from I'm not even thinking about Tesla until there's other buyers above 212.
Yeah, speaking of, I think somebody in the chat just mentioned this, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I did have a trade plan for this name as well earlier on in the week. And yeah, it's doing the dues right now and continuing to push all-time highs on Visa, 270, 271 actually coming in. Take a look at this distinct kind of buying there off of VWAP. Almost looks a little bit like a programmed buying, as these candles, a bit of an unnatural, again, in my opinion, kind of bid. Very clean, very mathematical there bid on the Visa there through that 270, 268. I think prior all-time highs in and around, I think 267, 268 if I have down. Yeah, so, and yeah, I also had a Honeywell as well written down from last night's scan. So let's take a quick look at Honeywell International. And yeah, a little bit of a bid again. Something peculiar to me was yesterday, I kind of noticed this on my scans. Not every ticker, again, it was confluence with the market bid, but certain, we had a bid from 1 p.m. Right, so this bid kind of showed up on a lot of names, but certain names like Honeywell, like Visa, had a very grindy, almost unnatural type of bid, whereas things like the SPY and other things, yeah, kind of had more of a choppy and healthy type of price action going up, and then some of these names just bid. Names that people normally don't necessarily look too much at, right? So it's like, all right, that's an interesting look as well, and we're getting a bit of continuation on Honeywell, but didn't really break too far up as we did gap down off the open. But Visa, oh boy, are we pushing through those highs. Prior day close highs right there acts as a consolidation base all day after doing a lick grab. You know, that's beautiful. There's beautiful price action right there. And then you reclaim VWAP on such a clean hold on 268 halves, and then the bid catches. And it's just like, it's, you know, can't stop, won't stop after that. 275 potential, but I have no idea. That bid definitely coming in real hot. Thanks for pointing it out in the chat. I totally forgot about that name here, but
look at this.
A little bit of market tailwind as well. Not going to hurt anybody.
A little bit. Tesla is finally starting to go. Holla at your boy, Tesla. So this is it above. So if there's going to be a chance to take this, why wait for it to make the fresh high? Come on, man. You were waiting for buyers above 212. Take the 22s. Take the 22s. So Will Clark wore the number 22. I tend to, like, when it's breaking up above 10s, if I'm I'm literally bidding 12s or 22s. It's just weird. It's like the easiest number to type in because you just put 2 twice. I could have put that order at 25. It didn't matter. But the idea being, you finally saw buyers sustaining above the 212 level. Why does 212 matter? Okay, well, I should probably mention why 212 is a thing. So this was 212 resistance. This was 212 support. Today it failed underneath. Now you have 212 trying to buy above. Tesla's been in the doghouse, but if it can hold on to this bid here, give this back to like the 75s, 80s, risk about 50 cents on it. I like, if you can find 50 cents worth of risk on Tesla, to me, all good. If it's gonna go higher, it can easily see the even dollar. I see no trouble if it's gonna break this top for it to be able to get to 213 because it's been lagging the market, and if the market takes out the highs, Tesla just went red to green. What does profit taking mean on Tesla for anybody? Recently, it means covering shorts, in my estimation. So if people are taking profit by covering shorts, and it's Friday, and it's power hour, then if it shows me signs of a breakout, I want to take a shot at it. But I was waiting for strength at that price. I suppose VWAP could have also been a thing. In hindsight being 2020, whatever, then 210 should have been something. Oh, and I should talk about the breakdown. Here's the thing about a breakout or breakdown trade. When this took out 208, did I like it? Sure, I took it. And then I reloaded it as well, and then I stopped out when it held 8. I could have scalped that for like 40 cents and been done with it. But I'm thinking that move to 205, I want 7s, 6s, and 5s. It doesn't work right away, I'm out of it right away. It ends up being a liquidity grab at the bottom, and you could have gone long, but I was looking short down there. The best you can do when you're wrong is to get out and limit the loss. There is nothing else you can do when you have a bad trade. The other thing you can do, well, it's not true. The other thing you could do is fight it and lose more. So you can do something else, but you shouldn't. So here goes Tesla to the upside. Yep. As I was saying, like when people were talking about Tesla, it's like, nah, not until somebody else is buying above 212. See, every time if you tried to make it a thing above 212, it doesn't work. But when other people make it a thing, you can try to join it. So I'm going to try to get something out in front of 213, and then hopefully we can go to the moon. AMD's still chilling out. My cost base is now 85s. It's actually a pretty tight stop on that because I moved the stop up, but it works out to about a 10-cent stop now on AMD. Just for fun, I've put up Funware because I'm noticing this happening, and shout out to everyone that was asking about this stock. I'm just noticing where I was getting out earlier, this 24 level is turned into support. So resistance to support. If it retests 24, I might look at a bit of a dip buy. Oh, AMD ran my stop. Boo, AMD. Not cool, AMD. I thought this could be one where take a little profit, add to it, and get more aggressive as it goes higher. Instead, AMD had other ideas. So it might not be that kind of a trade. Hopefully Tesla can make up for it here as that is creeping toward 213.
Yeah, Tesla about to make some fresh highs. Qualcomm continues to make fresh highs. It seems like iRobot's been bidding as well. Somebody pointed out to me that the Qs are holding a moving average. Oh yeah, are they holding a moving average? All right, this is a 15-minute chart straight to the upside. 420s testing right now, 421.30s, kind of the high of the day. A bit of a shake on that initial push of that 420, and take a look at that lick grab of the 420, and pushing right back up to the upside. NQ making fresh highs as well, alongside obviously the Qs are an instrument related to the NQs, but yeah, so fresh highs on the NQs as well. 17.4 holding quite nicely as of right now, with, like I said, Meta pushing highs. And let's take a quick look at some of these other names as well. Yeah, the spider continues to climb up its spout right there. And 156 Amazon. I don't even want to talk about that one anymore. I'm just like, I gotta.
Yeah, you do.
My if-then statements gotta be a lot more detailed in the if-thens, because I'm just like, all right, well, we were talking about this yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yesterday in the kitchen, where it's just like, all right, well, how much more specific can I get? If I like a level, I'm like, okay, well, if I like the level, I'm looking for a bid, I'm looking for a long to get, I'm looking for strong action to get long at this price, right? But that's all I'm writing down. I'm not being specific. Like I think yesterday I hesitated a bit on that 164.5 size that pulled up on AMD. Absolutely beautiful. And I did write down, oh, I want to bid 165 halves. But I didn't write down, like, I kind of hesitated in the moment. I'm like, okay, well, there's no reason why I should be doing that. And I think maybe partially because my plan isn't detailed enough. Right? It's just like
that's the thing. Your execution plan is just as crucial as your price. Like, this is the error I'm looking for. This is what I want to do when it gets there. If it looks like this, if it looks like that, that is just important. Everyone, like, we get a lot of questions about, hey, well, you know, what's this on your money? What are your thoughts? The reason why I vastly prefer rambling on about what I like about the setup and what I'm going to do there is because that's the most important part of the trade. I actually just realized, what am I doing? I had 154.25 as a level on Amazon, and then look at this sucker right at the open. Like pre-market low, I had this line drawn from a while ago. Pre-market low fails that price. Look at what happens when it crossed. I could have been long over. But you know what? I didn't have an execution plan for that level today. I know where I got it from. Like, I can look back on the 15-minute and say, I know exactly where I got it from right here. It was this day when it closed just above 154.25, and the next day it was resistance. When I see that, if I see a level like this, then hold is resistance. I'm drawing the line in the charts. The next time it gets to that price, I don't ignore it. I did ignore it today, but I didn't have an execution plan for that, so I don't even know what the heck I would have done. But it was a good key level to work off of, no questions, because the long over was absolute gold. So again, you've got to have a trade. There has to be a trade off of it. Tesla is starting to go. Oh, Meta could get to 385. Be careful what you wish for. Like, this is the problem. You know I'm not going to actually want to. We'll see Meta if it gets to 385. But it was a good thing not to short it the third time. First time good, second time good, third time, I mean, you could still be holding it in theory. I wouldn't be, but you could still be technically. Tesla is continuing to go, so it just pressed, trying to make the run to 13s. Now, obviously, you've got the high of the day sitting at above 213. I think I would like to hold through that top, but if it rejects that high, I probably just jump out of the trade, take the buck and run. But for now, not going to look the gift horse in the mouth. Tesla's been a weak stock. It finally held a bit above 212 for the first time since like 950. So I'd like to see this one continue. I will tighten my stop up, which would make some sense here. Do not necessarily want to. I'm not holding this again 50 cents against me. That's kind of. It's been too weak of a stock to do that. And the futures are at such a high with 50 minutes to go that really what you could be doing is buying, when you're buying a top, I like to tighten stops as it hits another level up, tighten the stop up, hits another one, tighten the stop up again. Just keep moving that goalpost. And that's what it's all about here. Just want to remind everybody, the podcast was taped yesterday. It does still drop tomorrow, but there is a market recap show. I'm going to be on the market recap show tonight. So get your questions ready. Got some stuff lined up. I was asked about my picks in football. I'm like, I'm not going to do. Well, I can do that at the end of the market recap for you guys or anybody that's interested in it. Don't want to do that while the market is open. I could, but we're not going to. We have a lot to review. Some interesting moves that were outside of big tech that I think we're going to talk about. I know we're going to talk about what happened in China. I kind of spilled the beans about my thoughts on Alibaba and a good buy entry point. But we can go over a lot of that again. So it's a heck of a lot to cover to wrap up Wild Week. And look at that. Probably a good place to take profits. Who's the person who just said they were going to short two? In the chat, I can search it or you guys can repeat yourself. I saw someone say I'm going to sell 212.89. I swear I just saw in the chat someone said, I'm just going to search for 212. Yeah. Pitch you bull. Look at this crap. Congratulations. Did you actually get the short? Because hopefully you did. I'm still in the long. It's going to stop out here. It won't be a losing trade, but it could be a heck of a lot better. So I'm waiting at 212.89. Not waiting for. You were just sitting on the offer at 212.89. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, okay, do me a favor. A couple of things. One, share with the community why did you like that price specifically? I think we'd all like to know. To me, the high of the day was I was looking for a failed week. If it failed, broke 213, I was going to jump out. I was going to hold it for the high of the day break. But if it failed the 213 break, I was just going to trail underneath 13. That was my plan. Clearly, you had a better level there, so I'd love to know why you were looking at that one. Hold My Beer says it was a group suggestion. Well, I was long. Why didn't you all tell me? Holla at a boy, man. Come on now. That's okay, whatever. I'd love to know exactly why. It was a great call out. It's a double top, but specifically why 89? Because that's a good one. If it was just in front of 213, congratulations to you. I hope you got the fill. I didn't quite see it get to 89. I thought I saw 85, 86 as the top, so I don't know that you would have got a fill up there. There were a bunch of sellers. I don't really use moving averages, but it's the 250 moving average. Well, if I use moving averages on my 3-minute chart, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
I've never heard of that one before. 250.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
If someone's saying it's a pivot point, okay, that makes sense. Top of the flag, all those things could make sense. It was a team decision, like Jameis Winston said. Oh, that was hilarious. I thought what they did was cool for Jamal Williams. I don't think it was generally cool if you're playing for the other team. Like faking, so basically, like the story goes. I don't know if you don't really follow football, but at the end of a football game, if it's completely decided, but there's time on the clock, a team goes in what they call the victory formation. They just line up and the quarterback takes a knee. The play clock winds 30 seconds each time they do it. So if the other team has no timeouts, the game is essentially over. Just take your knees and it's over.
Okay.
Well, these guys got an interception when the game was like 41 to whatever, 17. It's over. They get an interception and the guy gets tackled at the 1-yard line. And there's like a minute 30 left. All they got to do is take 3 knees and the game is over. But they signed a running back who led the NFL in touchdowns the year before. And he had 0 on the year. Okay. Led the league in the year before, 0 on the year this year. Like, we want to get this guy. The whole team wants to get him a touchdown. The coach told him to take a knee, victory formation. The team made the decision that they were going to run a play. So they go into victory formation. The other team's not even playing defense. So like you're going to kneel on it. They hand it to the running back, scores an easy TD. Everybody was pissed. The other coach was like cursing him out. I think that's kind of low blow, because to me you're signaling that the game's over. We're not trying anymore. If you line up intending to do it, the other team can line up intending to stop them. And the reason why I don't like it, it's all fun. Like, it's great to get it for your guy. My personal issue with it is one team knew what was happening and was going to try. And when the other team was like, we're not doing anything, then they react, somebody could get hurt. Because somebody's like, yeah, nothing's happening on this play. All of a sudden they're running it. Oh, I'm going to try and go for it. That's how a hamstring gets pulled or a knee gets twisted.
Yeah.
That's my issue there. So
wild.
It is what it is, but like, you're not signaling. That was a great short in Tesla. The best I could do was get out just under break even. Thankfully, you guys, great call on that 213. Thank you for the super chat there, Ian Rispetto. What happened in China to make the Chinese stocks go up today? So I'm just speculating. So if you look at Alibaba or any of these names, when this happened, the only thing I saw was it was a zero hedge tweet referencing a major broker in China restricting short selling or selling of equities, a certain group of equities, or equities basically across the board from what I read. And that was the first thing I saw. However, when Zero Hedge was tweeting that, I saw that, I then looked back and saw that story overnight. Like, there were people talking about that story overnight, and maybe it was just a delayed reaction. Like, nobody paid attention to it. Like, it was known, it happened, nobody paid attention, then Zero Hedge and other people started talking about it late, and then you get a move up. I cannot see any other thing. There wasn't a big news story that could have accounted for it. FBI restricting short selling is so unfair. Yeah, a lot of things are unfair. The uptick
sorry,
rule.
what?
Restricting short selling is unfair.
Oh, the SSR rule?
No, just restricting short selling at all. We're not talking SSR. We're talking about you can't short sell.
Oh yeah, that happened during the whole GME debacle, right? And I was like, I was not happy about that whole thing. I was like, how can you step into a free market and kind of dictate what you can and cannot do? Like that brought me to the realization that this game has GMs. Like in gaming,
Wait till
we call
you're in this
them
market
GMs.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because when I started, what we call the short SSR rule, where it's like short sell restricted, yet you can only shorten an uptick. When I started trading, that was across the board on the NASDAQ.
Really?
You couldn't short any stock without an uptick. Like, you could not hit the bid. If a stock was going down and all the ticks are red, you couldn't go short by hitting the bid. You had to wait for an uptick to get it. The only way that you could get around that was I don't know why they call them bullets, but like maybe this isn't the traders called them bullets. It might not. So basically you would pay for the right to be able to short something without there being an uptick. It wasn't like there were locates. You weren't paying for locates. You were paying for the right to go around the uptick rule. And they were called bullets. And you would pay for bullets on all these different stocks so that you could hit the bid when the stock was going down. That's shenanigans. However, it did create some interesting opportunities that you would be able to see. The uptick rule makes it so that sometimes you can see on the level 2 when people are piling in trying to hit the bid and they're stacking the offer. That is a great setup for a scalp reversal. So it creates other opportunities for you as a trader, but it doesn't surprise me. Again, what's going on with
That was my first time kind of experiencing that, so I was like, all right, well.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
financial crisis.
Interesting
They did
stuff.
it too, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't short banks.
Very interesting kind of control over the participants there. But yeah, Softy pushing back up, 397 halves coming in. Trade has been super crowded. Like I'm like, oh, the market's super strong. What is Softy doing? But clearly, very crowded trade. It is just slow and very, kind of like molasses, just slowly trending up. Somebody in the chat was like, yeah, the price action. It's like reading the flow, right? I like to think of it as like how viscous the tape can be or how viscous the price action is.
I've never heard
sometimes
viscous used.
Yeah, because it's order flow, right? Like it's flowing like water, viscosity, liquid. It's definitely an indicator for me.
We're writing
I
a
would
book
say.
with you at some point.
But yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. I have no experience yet.
Oh, we got to
that would warrant writing a book.
But
I forgot
my word
train
of
of
the
thought
day.
there. But yeah, we're still bidding up. I still have a bid level. I'm like, if we can get to 398 halves, to bid some more. And yeah, we still haven't. We've been taking forever to get up there. And,
But you should talk. It's now 320. In that
Yes.
plan, like your plan is to hold it, right? So
yeah.
Clearly, the plan is to hold it. But at
strong
320,
signals for squeeze as well.
would you
early.
ever actually add at 320, 330?
I think it's situational, right? It's just like because we've been so like sideways. It's only just now that we've broken past. I wouldn't call it opening price because the flush started coming in before the open, 5 minutes before the open. But these prices right here, where the selling kind of got aggressive, we have only just now at the end of the day started to kind of violate some of those prices. So yeah, maybe I think if I see enough buying pressure and I see if I'm like, okay, well, this may be indicating to me that players may be offside. Yeah, I think I'd be more than willing to push an ad at this time of day. But then, again, you're 100% right. At this time of day, if it's not really like, we've been bidding up all day, maybe potential for profit taking, but I think the setup that I'm looking for is like we've been seeing symptoms of squeeze in a lot of the names there. I think AMD is a prime example of a strong symptom of a squeeze kind of happening. And coming into today, you can take a look at these 15-minute bars. Like whether it's a squeeze or not, the buying pressure is definitely distinct, right? So that's what I'm looking for. And if we're gonna close like this on a Friday, I think the squeeze is a little
On a Friday.
little on. And
well, that sucks. Oh, guy, shouldn't have hit that one. Ah, well.
all right.
No, we have like a bunch of here. Well, this is the other one. When you say something smart, and we'll mic drop you. Like, look at why am I like Wesley Snipes in that? You see that, Ramin? Hold on a second. I look like Wesley. Like, look at that's not even like come on, man. Darknesses. Anyways, we have better ones, but we need a new mic drop. I like the mic drop when you do one of those like smart rants, blah blah. We gotta have one of those, man. I can give you like the perfect.
Oh, I like that one. That's cool.
Flawless victory.
Yeah.
I mean, whichever. Like if you're a flawless victory, I'm more of a Mortal Kombat person. If you're into Street Fighter, Sean's got a Street Fighter one. It's just whatever your preference might be. Oh, Funware did the bounce into 24. So this is, remember, 24, resistance, support. If it dips into 24 and buyers step in, I'll take the long. So dipped in 24, buyer stepped in, took the long. Scalp to 26, breaks 26, hold some for the dream. You guys know the story about this point. Tesla, wow, man, that was a great short. See, you guys should have told. I was long into it. It kind of worked. It's a positive trade, but the short was like a heck of a lot better. Like a hell of a lot better. DWAC is pumping. It's not really pumping, but it did tick up, and it doesn't hurt to have DWAC in your favor if you're trading Funware. There's no question about that. Tekken, Carl Geo, not really much of a Tekken person. I think I played it once in high school. But that's about it.
It's a pretty cool game. I mean, I didn't really indulge in it too much, but yeah, it was very popular. And even I think, what was it? It's it was. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat. Never mind. Yeah, Tekken was sick, and then Mortal Kombat kind of took over that scene. Yeah, that's a sick game.
Get over here. Nothing? No?
No. I understood the reference, of course.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the what was it? It's Sub-Zero or no? Never mind. I guess I didn't play it enough.
I understood the reference. I guess I was Sub-Zero. Oh man, it was the other. It was
either the blue guy or the green guy. Scorpion. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Scorpion was yellow, by the way. See now. Okay, I'm trying to be cool about. Remember, I'm trying to be cool here. Okay. The red guy, the blue guy, or the red guy. Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's cool. Whatever. Everyone in the chat. Lava Girl, Scorpion. That was good. Blah blah blah. Yeah, the Scorpion. Yeah. Come on, Obi. No,
I haven't even. Here's my excuse. I haven't gamed in a while. I'll be honest.
You haven't gamed.
Yeah, I haven't gamed in a while. I mean, I'm pretty much gaming every day, right? We're playing ranked every day, but I haven't been really gaming that much. Rocket League, I got to play some this weekend for sure. Kind of take a little bit of a breather. I looked up at the last date played. It's been a couple months, so I'm like I need a bit of a cool down.
I got my daughter a Nintendo Switch. We were for Christmas, And when I was playing it on Christmas Day, that's the first time I played a video game in over a decade. Now you talking about you haven't played in a couple of months? Like,
Oh, that's unnatural
come
for
on,
me.
son.
For sure, that's not unnatural for me.
That's why I knew it was true. I'm like, don't tell me about you haven't played. Okay, what's up, man? This is complete. I'm just staring at that Tesla short. That was absolute gold.
Wow, AMD.
First of all, AMD's nuts. Charles Butler, you can short the SPY. I'm not really looking at. I don't really have any shorts that I'm in love with right now. Funware set up the 24 bounce. If it breaks 25, I start covering. NVIDIA's not doing much. Oh, SMCI. I knew there was something we weren't looking at. Shout out to you guys. SMCI pulled back. That's what's wild. It's hard when SMCI is pulling back. It's hard to buy tops. But the short ideas that I had, obviously, I wish I had you know what, Tesla. Thanks a lot, everybody. But Affirm. If I had fought Affirm, I think I would have won. But I didn't. This would have worked out pretty nicely, but I don't want to break my rules. It's underneath 42 now, so like it's setting up the short, like it's setting up the failure, the lower high short. But the short to this top at 42 and a quarter, that was probably the jam. It's just it was not what I was looking for. It is kind of setting up here again. It makes one more push, like it's consolidating. If it pushes this last time, which it's trying to do, fails to break 42, I probably jump into this short. But until I see that, got to be patient with it. Let's go from there to the desk with Brendo.
This portion of the show brought to you by Simpler Trading. Options trading can be a whole lot simpler with the right tools. That's why we recommend you check out Danielle's recommended tools and training bundle for just $47 today.
The best thing about that, one of the reasons why I love like Trade Ideas and I love this is, it's easy for me to say, hey guys, check it out. Because if I have a question about options, then I'm gonna DM Danielle Shea. Or we're gonna wait till she comes on twice a week, and then we can ask her the question then. So if you don't know something or you don't understand something, you could always just pretend that you do, or you could ask somebody who knows more than you. You can learn from an expert. And if you're not willing to learn, then I don't know. There's probably something intelligent I could say about that. But if you're not learning, you're dying. And if you're not trying to learn, then you're giving up. So I think she knows her ish, for lack of a better term. And when we have questions, that's what we ask. And as a matter of fact, shout out to a couple. Look, our community is fantastic as well. Shout out to Ponzi in the chat and a few of the others. I know the regulars, especially sometimes in the morning, the Breakfast Club. They'll be talking about some small caps they're looking at. There'll be a great talk about the futures and the options market as well. And I'll take the cue from you guys. I'm an equity. I've only ever traded equities, so like I'm a stock trader. That's where like looking for those kind of setups and technicals is pretty much that's what I do. So I can't pretend to be something we're not. But that's what she does, and she knows her stuff. So check her out if you have questions. T's Trade, any chance you could look at UNH for the long term and your thoughts? Okay, so caveat. I have owned shares of UNH for a very long time in my personal account. I have not actually done, like I haven't added to this in, I think the last time I added was in 2022. Like I know it was somewhere in, I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it was in this dip, like when it made, now it's too far. I'm pretty sure it was in this dip. So when it made this bottom at 450, it would have been here, like when it bounced 450 and came back to 200 period. I think that's the last time I did anything with UNH. I bought it here and I haven't sold anything. I haven't bought any more. My first thoughts are, it's not a great sign that it's holding the same top and it's about to fail the 200 period again. That's never generally great. It's not a stock I intend on selling. I think it was who had earnings last night in the space that's bringing it down was a Humana. I think had earnings. That's why it's down today on sympathy. But they're better than them. So general sense, I still like them for the long-term hold. But as far as the momentum trade goes, look at the top, and now you made the same top, and now you're failing the 200 period moving average with a close. And if it breaks and closes above 500, it starts to look a little bit bearish. But I'm not selling any of my shares, so that's the caveat. But I could see why you'd be concerned with this, especially with tech looking strong. A retest of 450 or 460 wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah, so I'm kind of very adamantly kind of watching the tape here on Softy as this 398 comes in potentially here, speeding up a little bit of a, again, squeeze type action on the tape for a little bit here. Again, strong market. We're consolidating near the highs. And yeah, maybe Softy's releasing a little bit of that pressure. Selling came in quite aggressively right underneath that 397 in the pre-market. And we're testing that level right now. So if any, how I'm thinking is like, okay, who's offside here? Any shorts that got in 397.8s or just underneath the break of that 398, definitely sweating right now as going into the last half hour of the day, price is reverted, pretty much a V-shaped recovery back into those same places, 398. We might actually get that 400 push if we continue this strong to the upside there. Here we come, only about 20 pennies left. Nothing really too crazy there in terms of size at the 398 that I'm seeing as of right now. But yeah, let's see if this move comes into fruition. Uber with another VWAP bounce there, Neil. This thing's holding VWAP like a champ, even though we had the aggressive selling.
This is
right?
silly.
It keeps on reloading.
You're still in this too. Oh, you're not still in it.
No, I'm not in it. It's 100 lots right there on the 398. On Softy there, nothing too crazy. We've seen more size at lower levels, so let's see if we slice through it like butter. We're going to use it as a bit of nice resistance there on Softy. But 398 incoming. Oh boy, why don't I have more?
That's 10. We're getting there. We're close. I like it. You got a couple more you can get in. Look, man, by the time I get to the market recap show, give us a baker's dozen there. Obi, you know what that is, right?
I've definitely heard the phrase before. Baker's dozen.
It's 13.
No.
It's like, so if you order a dozen, they give you an extra. Baker gives you an extra.
Oh,
for
okay.
A dozen, you get 13. See, the thing about it is, don't harp on Obi, man. He's young. I've been doing the show with Sean for a long time. We get all of each other's references every single day. That's what happens when you sit next to the same person every day. But the early look on the imbalances, oh boy, 49 million to buy. That's nothing.
Oh boy.
Darwin, that is how many donuts I can eat. I've already told the story about when a buddy of mine, we were going to play some Mario Kart in high school. We went out, got like a dozen donuts and a liter of chocolate milk, got upstairs. We're going to chill out. Oh, first thing, before I finish this, Uber, I'm going to get out if it goes up to the quarters. And as a matter of fact, if it gets down to VWAP, I should probably take this out if it breaks VWAP again. So I'm going to tighten up my stop there. But the story went, as we're about to like get started, play some games, eat some donuts, all that crap, I was in a condo building at the time. We're on the 20th floor. I get a call from my other buddies like, yo, I'm rolling by. I'm downstairs. My first thought was, yo, he didn't put in on this. He's not eating any of mine. That's for damn sure. So the first thing, I'm like, okay, I buzzed him up and then turned, ate all 6 of my donuts and drank my half of the chocolate milk because I was craving like that. I'm like, nope, you're not having any of this.
Damn, I could never do that.
I was that guy who just, I'm not sharing, like, that's my donut, I'm not sharing it. I would have no trouble, like, whatever, man, I'll get you one if you want one. But the ones I bought for myself, they're mine. I would sooner buy you a donut than share one of mine.
Huh.
That's just how I would roll.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, what's the food that I wouldn't share? I don't know. Maybe pizza. Maybe pizza. No, ice cream. I like my pizza. It's got to be made well, but yeah, no, I don't know. I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Well,
What's
obviously,
Ram Ram saying?
Ram just said lollipop. Well, obviously you're not sharing a lollipop. What's a food you wouldn't share with somebody, Ram? Ketchup chips are better. She said ketchup chips from Saudi. Ketchup chips are my favorite chip. Like that's
that's such a Canadian thing.
Every time the Bills play, I eat ketchup chips. Like that's my jam. I have ketchup chips and Innocent Gun beer. So okay, now you have to bring me ketchup chips from Saudi. No, you just said they're better from Saudi. You have to share. Well, when you go next time, next time I want some. Neil wants. I'm hungry right now. As we're talking. This should be incredibly predictable. See, the best thing about this trading show is everybody watching this should know that I'm short Affirm underneath 42. Why? Because I said exactly what I was going to look for. So it pulled back in underneath 42, made this bottom here. I'm going to wait for it to retest 42. If it fails it, I'm going short. So I could just jump into the short, or I could set a plan in motion, which is if it puts in the lower high, fails the 42, I get in underneath. Short at 96, I can stop it to the high of the day. In this case, it's 334. Local high is going to be the stop. As a matter of fact, I realized I actually had it at the high of the day instead. I'll go with the local high here on Affirm. I have to cancel one to put in the other. That's insane. There we go. So I'm going to stop it at the local high because we have 25 minutes till the close. I'm going to jump out earlier so I can get ready for the market recap show. I'm generally done at 3:55, and the imbalances come soon. So I'm going to take like a scalp trade in here and then maybe hold it for, I'm thinking 41.60 just because that's where the buyers were before. So that's the plan of action. Always have yourself a plan before you get into a trade. And then trading will be a heck of a lot more fun that way. Like Funware.
We just clipped 398 for some size. All that size comes in, pulls right back into the 90s, and then rebids on top of 398. Oh boy, I like that price action. Let's keep going there. 398 push, looking quite nice. 17,420 holding on the NQ and attempting to push as well. So yeah, I see absolutely no reasons to sell here. Yeah, so 398 coming in, 398 halves is a place where I'm like, okay, well, you know, if we hold this level, maybe get some more for, that was my plan in the morning. But like Neil said, with only 25 minutes left and the market coming into the inbound here, I am debating.
So $4 high of the day, you say, oh boy, once? Like on the midday show.
I mean, the trade is the trade, Neil.
And when you step in on the midday show,
the trade is a trade. Like, I got to get better at executing the trade.
You'll say, oh boy, like 50 times on the midday. The second I put a counter on it, I get like a dud 13. It's disappointing. But I did the Funware thing because Funware was going to the upside. That should have been obvious to everybody. Funware popped. There's the 25. There's the out in front of 26. We said if it held 24, go long. So it held 24. There's your dip. Previous resistance. Go long into 26 even. There's stacked offers. I'll hold some for the dream. See if it can go higher. But oh boy.
I'm out.
Meta is not any. You just got out?
Safe.
Congratulations. We just wicked at 398. It is late in the day.
Bit of a failure to follow through and that distinct kind of printing inside. Now, I could be very wrong. It's still holding trend. It's still doing whatever. But I think, like you say, don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth for too long. Might be getting kicked in the face if I do. But yeah, that 398 could still come in. We could still blast through that 400. But yeah, I kind of don't really feel too good about that.
I know you know that. Right, I know you know that didn't make any sense, right?
Sorry, what? Well,
because you can't. How are you gonna get kicked in the face if you look a gift horse in the mouth?
If he does a quick 1-2 turn and a slap.
How's a horse gonna turn around fast?
I don't know. I mean, it's a thought experiment. All right, we're pulling back a little bit.
I'm just saying, if you're that slow, you got issues. So, you're definitely.
Or that's a fast horse, right?
Okay.
There's some fast horses in the market. I mean, you get slapped around pretty quick. We've seen some of the lick grabs that happen, but yeah.
Fabian, when knows what's up, he's looking at the wrong mouth.
All right. Well, anyways. NQ, super strong on the day, strong close on the week. I don't know what to say after that. But Uber, a little sideways, had some strong action there, a bit of a choppiness, but the hold of VWAP definitely gave you some decent opportunities to get involved with. And Amazon, oh boy, I have an alert here at 155 is 60s, kind of a structural area from before, just on my chart. And I'm just like, oh, get long and stay long if we break this price. That price is coming in with only 20 minutes left. We're going to have another gap on Monday, Neil? Like, we're closing pretty strong. Like,
we're closing at the highs.
Run some stats on this price action, man.
Like, it's the thing. You close at the highs, you look for gaps, you get a trend to the upside. By the way, I'm just going to punch out of this silly Spirit Airlines pretty soon. Talk about a stock not moving. But you know what? If you want to have some fun, have some jokes, watch the show. And if you want to learn to trade, watch the show. But if you want to trade on this platform to eventually earn real money, then join the campus program. So I'm going to start with the punchline. The next class for this campus program is for February 5th. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because it usually fills up ridiculously fast. And it's like you were telling everybody to sign up, and then they said it was already full. So it's February 5th. You don't want to wait till the back end of the month for this program. What is it? Trade real money, gain real experience. It's that simple. I keep saying that they should put free right here because that's what I would do. Like I would have the word free like going up and diagonal in like red or something in a really cool font. That's what I would do because it's a free program. All you got to do is put the time and effort in to follow the key steps, learn the market, step one, learn the platform, P per weight, what we use every single day. Every trader on this floor, every trader across the globe and day trade of the world uses P per weight, proprietary platform built by traders for traders. Get your one-on-one coaching in TMS. That's the simulator. It's a good one. Learn the platform and executing trades, develop trading strategies, learn to read the tape in the simulator, then do what you want to do, which is go live. Once you're live, you still get your one-on-one training. You're still going to get that opportunity to hone your skills, but you know where you're headed. You want to try to become a funded trader. That's the end goal. You can become a funded trader at the end of this so long as you meet all of those steps. There has already been a viewer that was able to actually pass the entire program. I want to shout out anybody that's had success or that even had the guts to just go in there and put the time and effort in. If you have a passion for trading, it's 16 hours a week. You can do it part-time, but you've got to be willing to learn. And as always, you do have to be located in Canada. So you have to be in Canada for now. We actually urge people to go to the site and put their input in. I'm from here and I would love to do it because as far as I'm concerned, the more you badger the back office about how much you want this opportunity elsewhere, the more likely they are to give it. So that's what it's all about. Check out the QR code below, or if you're an old head like me, go to campus.daytradingtheworld.com. I'm capable of scanning a QR code. I just like to say it that way to make fun of myself. Do you have what it takes? Passion for the markets and a willingness to learn and be in Canada? And you're locked and loaded and good to go. As I said, February 5th is the next class, so get your applications in. I'm not only the, the best thing about it is, like I trade on this platform. I owe pretty much, you can't say you owe everything to something, but I owe a heck of a lot in my life and my personal career because I've only day traded at a prop floor. That's it. It was the first thing I did out of university, and I've done nothing else since. I've been a risk manager. I've owned my own trade floor with Sean, but I've never not sat in front of a screen and day traded in some fashion every single day since 2003 after I graduated university. I haven't had another job. Wow. So for me, it's a legit passion. I have not moved off the floor because I don't want to stop trading. I said this, and anyways, I won't tell you who I said it, but I remember there was a conversation came up with another opportunity, and I was like, you're gonna have to, I'll have to draw down, you have to fire me to get me to stop trading because I love trading, and even then I'd probably just still find a way. So that's been known, man, I'm just saying. So if you love it, then fantastic, you take your shot at it. Affirm, first part of the plan in effect here. Was able to get some 41.8s out. Again, just want to take some profit. You got about 15 minutes till the close, and then the imbalances come in like 7 minutes, so you got to take profit in here. I'll probably, if we break this 80, I'll tighten up my stop, but I'm looking for 41. I'm just going to put a bit at like 61.
You watching AMD? AMD is still going. That's absolutely wild. AMD 173 and some change. 175 is incoming. Wow.
Who's the idiot that got out of AMD? I mean, who would do that?
I was like, this was one of the names that was showing very interesting squeezing action, especially on Wednesday. If you take a look at Wednesday, what happened later on at the end of the day on AMD, yeah, sure, we kind of had a nice strong sell-off, but take a look at this right here. Very strong and aggressive bid that comes in, again, confluenced with volume at 215 on AMD. Very, very strong. The next day we come in and gap and a bit of a sell-off, but take a look at this continuation and more of the squeezing action happening today going into the close on a Friday.
They report in 11 days.
What's going on?
You know what? This stock is absolutely insane.
What is stock?
Congratulations, power it up, all that good stuff. I'm trimming AMD before earnings. It doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. This is like I said earlier. This is the type of day where there's a low percentage chance you'll be happy with your day. Whether or not, like I promise you a lot of people are probably having their best day of the week. There were a lot of trading opportunities today, but that's not necessarily how you should measure your day. I know I'm not, otherwise I would be happier than I am, but I know that AMD, there's a lot of money left on the table. There's no question about it. Yay! But where's the rest of the move?
I'm kind of.
There's a lot left on the table for AMD today, but it's starting to get parabolic. They report on the 30th, man. I don't know. Like it's a moonshot. Like everyone understands that their current PE is nonsense and it doesn't matter when you normalize it. But even the forward PE was a little bit high. So there's going to be a lot riding on this January 30 report. I think it's an easier top to be put in on the NVIDIA earnings because they come 3 weeks after them. And you'll have a bunch of other tech earnings that'll build into that as well. But AMD is starting to get frothy, man. If you're going to tell me we'll be at like 180 to 185 when we get there, like that's insane. Which we could be. Brendo, what up?
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Shout out to Frank Caberna. It's like even in spirit, he pumped the markets at 245. Although really the markets were, whatever. The markets have been pumping the whole day.
Yeah,
Can't really attribute it to the time of day. M. Allen, the only one upset today is Sean. LOL, joking. The crazy thing about it, and I've been down that road before. Sean. Look, man. Like he's at the rank. He's enjoying his time with his family. As a trader, I know this for a fact because I was this way young. You don't want to take time off, and that's the only one upset is Sean there. You don't want to take time off because you might miss opportunities. You don't know what kind of day it's going to be going in advance. When you take a day to do something, it's important. You can't know if it's going to be a big one. And if you get wrapped up in that game, you'd never take any time off. And I've already said in my first 10 years, I should have taken a little bit more time off and had a little bit more fun. I regret that now, being a little bit older, but at the time it was like, you've got to make money, build a bankroll, want to last in the game. Like that was my mentality. I think it was a little bit overdone, and that's just my advice. You've got to enjoy some of the things that you're more likely to do when you're younger, because when you have kids, I'm not taking the same kind of boys trip to, Egypt or whatever got done. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. I just took another leg out of Affirm because the market's going back to the high. So if you're short and there's a support level, and the market's about to go higher, then you get some out. See? Easy peasy. Makes sense to me, so we're going to do it. I am going to cover this Uber as well. So, it's bouncing off VWAP, but it's not carrying through VWAP. I don't even want to hold this past 350. So imbalances are coming up pretty soon. I got to get up to the desk as well. That's another factor here. I'll be moving to the desk in about 8 minutes so I can get up and get ready for the market recap show. So I'm going to do that. Yes, John Van Sowers, as I said, there is a market recap show. If you got questions, let me know. I want to do a Q&A. I keep saying I want to do a Q&A, and then I never have time to do it. We're going to try to get a Q&A done. We can talk about anything, long-term account, general thoughts on the market. We're going to go over what happened in China. There's a lot to cover as well. And there we go. Future Eddie, facts. He's with the fan. That's 100%. Right? Trust me. I know Sean. Yeah. Okay, he's going to look at the AMD chart and he's going to, so 3 things are going to happen. The first thing he's going to do when he looks at the AMD chart, he's going to throw something, whatever he has in his hand. He'll do one of those and he'd be like, damn it. Then he's going to look to see what he actually would have traded. Then he's going to make that realization. And then he's going to turn and look at Gia and be like, yeah, whatever, who cares? That's how Sean rolls. I've known Sean for, okay, well, that's a very long time. For a very, very long, 30 years. We've known each other for 30, yeah. No, it's not 30, it can't be 30. No, it's 25, 30 years. So our high school crew is all between 25 and 30 years, but Sean, I don't think it was till, I want to say it was closer to 90, was it 93? No, is it really 93? Yeah, no, it's 1993. Huh. Was it 98? One of the two, doesn't really matter. It's a very long time. Very, very long time. Too long. I'm actually struggling to remember the exact date. Because we have the range in our crew where it's these guys I met in 93, 94. These guys I met 95, 96. And then everyone else tail end was 98, 99. So And we have fantasy football pools together. Sean and I are the only ones that are in trading. There's a couple of guys that are like doctors and guys work at banks and stuff, but we all stay pretty tight, which is pretty cool. So there's only like 30 seconds until we have the imbalances coming out here.
Oh yes.
I'm not taking any new
We're
positions.
pushing into 398 on that. Yeah, I'm not in anything right now, but we're catching a bit of a bid into that push. I do want to fix this wick here before that comes out. What do we got? 397.7s. Okay. All right.
Oh, I gotta answer the question. DVD. Sean's brother was his best man, and my brother was my best man. For anyone that doesn't know this, I don't mind saying it. I don't really go too much into it because I don't mind telling my business, but I don't like telling other people's business. I've been married twice. At my first wedding, Sean was the MC, and he slayed. My other good friend was the MC at my second wedding. Sean had the kids there. It was a little bit, but he slayed it. He slayed at my first wedding. It was great. I'd show you videos. That's the kind of thing I would, but I'd show you videos if I could, but he slayed. So the imbalances have dropped. Nikola to sell by 2.5 million. That's a shocker. DVAX, I don't even know what that is. Enbridge, who cares? That's dual listed. Pfizer, that's an early look. Cisco to buy 1 million. Where are the big cap tech names? There's Apple. 850,000 to buy on Apple. JD's a sell. Where's the rest of the big tech? Amazon's a small buy, 600,000. AMD's a sell of 650,000. So it's not really huge. It is a buy and balance, 1.4 billion. You can see there's a lot of Bs on some of those bigger names there. But AMD was a small sell imbalance. Yeah, I'm just going to punch out of Funware. That's starting to come back down. So Funware failed 25. So it did get to 26, so it did work. You got to ring the register. You get to 24 and to 26, but it does fail back on 25. Out of that trade, for myself, Affirm, hit enter twice there. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to press any higher, so I'm just going to move my stop on Affirm. I'll give it to if it breaks back above 90, I should just cover it. I have to get out of this thing in the next 3 minutes anyways.
Yeah, so Softy kind of did a pop on into that 398. So we did print some fresh highs on the day off of those imbals, but doesn't really get too far. I think we clip what is it? The high of day is now 398.27. So we clip about 27 pennies above the 398s and then get pushed right back down. I'm not really seeing what the imbal on Softy here is. Let me take a quick look. I should. Where is it? Amazon with a 600 to buy. Yeah, no, back on my desk, I have a specific watch list of just the Mag 7 in terms of the imbal here. But yeah, Apple with a 700K buy. Intel's at the top of the list, 2.4 million sell. Yeah, I'm not really seeing Softy here anywhere, and I shouldn't. Oh, there it is. Boom, 340
boom.
To buy. Okay.
You never say boom. Now you're just doing it on purpose.
What?
Softy, boom. Softy, oh boy, Obi. Oh boy.
No, but I found something. I was like, oh, boom.
Remember the baker's dozen we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, you've said oh boy 12 times. 12 times. One more for the baker's dozen.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of times there. Anyways, you're telling me I gotta fill that quota, eh? I don't know. I don't know what else to really.
I like my shoes there. I don't have those anymore. It's kind of weird.
I didn't catch.
I like the shoes and the graphic, but I wanted to shout this out because this is so true, and this is really nice of you to say, Lolo. Neil's like the nicest dude ever, except when he has donuts. This is very, very true because I'm literally the person who I will not share my dessert unless it's like I won't share dessert with my wife. I'll share it with my daughter. It's the only person I will share dessert with, my daughter. And she's 6 years old. But if somebody has a treat, I'm the first person to be like, you mind if I have some? Or like Ram has something, she'll give me some. Cat will have anything. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take some. But I won't share mine. So I am not that nice when it comes to treats. But nobody, you have to, you just got to be you, man. And I really, 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 really like pastries, like a lot. So I'm now out of all my positions. I just got out of Uber. The bounce off VWAP was epic on this stock today. What would be really, really, I just said really way too many times there. What would be great is a close above 65 and then a continuation on Monday of this breakout. This, it might have been a positive stock today, but I wanted Uber to go. It didn't go. There was no 66. I keep thinking it's got a bigger move in here, but this might have just been a bit of accumulation at that price. And what you do after you accumulate is either drop or pop. I'm looking for the pop come Monday for sure. Mr. Mem saying Mara short working. And I do say literally a lot. That's my daughter's fault as well. No, you're not wrong about that. I probably said literally more times than Obi said oh boy today. We've always wanted, I don't know if YouTube can do this, but it would be really cool if there was some way, it's not like AI is a thing, that you could word count like the crap that Sean, myself, Brendan, Sharif, Adara, Ovi, like what are the things we say the most? Because I'd love to know, like what is that one thing that you guys want me to stop saying over and over again? Maybe it is literally.
You know, I think there's. I think YouTube does like a transcript thing, even like an auto transcript sometimes. If you can get like an AI to read that full transcript and be like, okay, go over the past 2 years worth of transcripts, I'm sure the AI will take about 5 minutes to do that.
Sounds like a lot of work.
For us.
Well, yeah.
Not for the AI.
Well, I'm saying it out loud, so like maybe somebody else will do it.
Yes.
Right. That's how I roll.
That was a strong pop there on Softy. We did print 398 halves, and we're holding above 398. So
just look at the NVIDIA chart. I'm getting up to the
decent push.
For post-market show. The market recap I'm going to be ready for in a couple of minutes. But NVIDIA high of the day. Stock is ridiculous. Market's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I'll see you guys at the desk in a couple of minutes. Take them to the bridge there, Obi.
NVIDIA
could go to 600 before I even leave this table.
We might not even get the luxury of trading 600 in the live hours. We talk about this all the time. Some of the best prices, they're going to get dealt with. And I think we're poised. If that happens, I don't know. But yeah, that 600 may not be available.
Don't break 600 till Monday.
Yeah, we may not be available coming Monday, but I don't know.
Nobody buy until let it close underneath 600, please.
Everybody just chill out. On Monday? Stop buying.
Joking. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.
All right, thank you, Neil. Yeah, wild market. Almost, I'm speechless. It's just like, what are we doing? It's been a while since we've had almost a 300-point move intraday on the NQs, and oh boy, have we traveled that distance on the day. That 17.4 hold was quite nice, and yeah, a lot of these other tickers as well. The longs were definitely not wrong right off the open. Like if you longed anything in the first half hour in terms of the Mag 7, well, maybe not all the names here. Whoa, that's a pop on Meta if I've ever seen one. 382 straight into 383 halves. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, with only about 3 minutes left, I'm just an observer here. I hope you guys all had a decent trading day, and yeah, a lot of opportunities like Neil said. On the day, a lot of all-time highs, a lot of new prices being printed, and a decent amount of volatility to risk off of, and decent structure as well for the same thing to risk off of. And yeah, let me know what you guys have been trading. I only had a couple of trades, just Softy and Uber. Didn't really take. I only had 3 plans. I had Uber, Softy, and Amazon, and I did not take Amazon. Fumbled that one for sure. That one played out really nice. And again, that's a ticker that I'm most comfortable with in my opinion. And I kind of a little disappointed in myself for not being involved. But it is what it is. If this move is going to continue, if this bid is going to be real, there's going to be plenty of opportunities coming in. Again, this is a crazy start to the new year, right? I've been kind of writing down in my notes, how does price action kind of print and structure itself in the start of the year, and how do we kind of set up for the rest of the year? And it's definitely been interesting with a strong continuation off of last year's push. Again, we came from all the way down from the low lows, and coming back up, all these tickers into all-time highs. And we're still waiting on Apple. I'm sure it'll get there when it does. But yeah, some of these names lagging behind a little bit. But interesting look. I didn't even catch it if I didn't put an alert on it. But the SPY all-time highs today. So congrats to all the swings there on the market. So we are pushing some fresh highs. And with only about 2 minutes left on the day. I don't got too much left to talk about. I think Softy was kind of a number one in my eyes today. But taking a look across the board, you could have had a number one in a lot of these Mag 7 names, even the futures. Like, take a look at that. We're pushing all-time highs on the futures themselves. So like, that was a big trade there as well, I'm sure. But yeah, a lot of opportunities nonetheless. But without any further ado, we've only got 30 seconds left, and I see Adara walking up to the bell here, so I'm gonna reach over here so I can get my hands on the countdown timer. And wow, AMD fresh highs going into the close. Oh boy, that is some wild action. So we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are done. Thank you, everybody. There goes Softy printing new highs into the close. Wow, we might even get that 400 in the after hours, but I am done for the day, and I hope you guys had a great day as well. I hope you guys got some value. I want to thank everybody who makes this show possible, and thank you for everyone for joining us. Right? Hopefully you get you're getting some decent value, spending some time with us, learning. I guess I'm just a beginner. I'm still learning. I'm still very, very fresh on my journey. Nowhere near the experience that Neil and Sean kind of have in the markets, but always a blessing, and always very humbled to be sitting beside some of the greats in the game. But without any further ado, I'm going to send you off to the big desk with Neil for the market recap. So don't go anywhere. But I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Take it easy.
Oh boy, do we have a market recap for you. You've got to be happy when the January sell-off and the little bit of a losing streak that we had, it's over. It's over. The bull market is back. You know what's up. You know what's good. You saw the way the market finished today. It was green, green, and more green. Although, like Brendan just mentioned a couple of things that were to the downside that I didn't realize. Not so great if you're in the EV space, you're in lithium, apparently. I actually had no idea that was happening. But come on. Everything starts with what happened in the SPY, right? You know what's up. Everyone's been talking about it. The NASDAQ did its thing. The SPY, we're at an all-time high. It's not just a James Bond theme song classic, but it is what the SPY, the S&P 500 have done today. You're breaking that top. You're going and going and going and just continuing to run. So that's the big story. You had the NASDAQ do it. Now you have the SPY punch through. There was a bit of a chop, but there wasn't that much of a pullback. We just powered right through it. Apple definitely led the way for us. Some good news for them throughout the week. But the greater story today, and I don't like, this is the thing. You talk all you want about the SPY catching up and the move in the market. Everything, and I mean everything, started with SMCI and the chips. Chips and no dip. None whatsoever. Because when I'm looking at what happened in all these different sectors, SMH, 3.8%. I mean, the Qs are up too. Bitcoin had a good day. Everything, look at all the green on the board here. It's all green, baby. It's all good. But you are definitely led by SMH. You're like, well, why were the chips so good the last couple of days? Well, I'll tell you exactly why, or at least probably why. I don't know. Because chips are great. Chips lead the world. Chips make the world go round, all that good stuff. But you had two things that I think led that charge. One was TSM and their strong guidance. So they're breaking out on the daily. You can see there's the earnings, big in yellow, breaking out the top, holding 110, fresh 52-week highs for Taiwan Semiconductor. And the other thing, you might have heard of them, Supermicro, SMCI. Anybody know SMCI? Let me know in the chat. Has anybody heard of SMCI? Anybody ever seen this chart for a split second? Yeah, that doesn't suck. The thing is, we all know what a bad-looking chart and a good-looking chart looks like. But let me get this out of the way. This is for everyone that trades, you already know this. But while everybody was talking about the move that NVIDIA made last year and how parabolic it went, the thing that mostly traders, and I guess people that follow this stock, They knew that SMCI was doing some crazy stuff and pretty much just as well. They're more in like the services side of AI, but as it grows, they had their guidance out in front of their earnings, right? Pretty smart move. So out in front of their earnings, which do come later this month, they dropped surprising guidance beats or improvements, and then your breakout all-time high. So yesterday, TSM dragged the chips higher. Today, SMCI led everything to the upside, and you get this massive breakout. Now, keep in mind when you're trading this stock in particular, look at the nice consolidation, and it's now doubled up, 9% short float. SMCI has a 9% short flow and was squeezing and holding volume above 400. So this could have some legs to that move. No questions asked. I'm not going to talk about SMH without actually showing you specifically what happened here. I know AMD certainly stole the show, but you're still in the midst of a continuation breakout on SMH. And that's the thing about a breakout trade. Like, you just need it to break out. You can say if it doesn't make this break at the top, then you don't actually have to get into something that doesn't break out. Like, the last couple of breakouts have been fantastic, and the last breakout held support. So this could pull all the way back into 177. And at least until NVIDIA earnings, I'd still think that would be a buy. After NVIDIA earnings, all bets are off as far as I'm concerned, because chips, but it could all come to an end, and we could do a real dip come February 21st. That's when NVIDIA reports earnings. You get all this good news. Meta's spending all that money, $9 billion. They probably spent some of that, but $9 billion by the end of this year. They're expecting, Zuckerberg was saying, you're going to get Google talking about it. You're going to get Apple talking about it. You're going to get all their clients talking about it. And then they're going to have to put up or shut up on the 21st. I think that sets you up for a bit of a fall. Just my 2 cents. Do not want to sleep on what else was going today. Look, man, if the regional banks are second on the board, you know it's been good. So gotta respect to the regionals. If you look at KRE, dip right into the 50-period moving average and now holding the bid. Now, I'm not sure they're in the clear here just yet. You do have a general downward trend since that high that has to break. I think if it can get above 51 here, then you've proven you've dipped, you've broken out of that slight downward trend, and you're going higher. But you've got support at that 50 period that's put in. You've got support underneath that big $50 level as well. So things are starting to look a little bit better. I know the Qs, we've already talked about that, but I want to get to XLF. I know there's been, my stance on XLF hasn't changed. I understand Sean has his point about the banks, not really what I'm looking for in the trade, because XLF as the ETF is setting up just perfectly. You go over to the weekly chart on the XLF, and what I see is you've got the intact 37 resistance holding support, and whoops, I want to zoom in, not out. Holding support at 37, and then there's your 38 top. So all it has to do is close above 38, you're into the breakout phase of that trade, pop it on over to the daily chart. It dipped, it held 37, now it's going to try and break 38. I don't really care what the individual banks do or what the individual components do in the XLF. It's an overall financials ETF that is showing you 37 and 38. If it closes above 38 on the weekly, that looks like a good entry to me, with at least a couple of dollars worth of room to the upside in what has been a strong charge for this particular name. No questions about it. It's not like there's a lot of things to look at. It's not to skip any sectors, but I do want to jump over to the Russell, because small caps, you know, like if I had a penalty box graphic, we should have a penalty box graphic actually. I'd have put these guys in the penalty box a little bit after the fail of 200. Everyone knows how strong a push that the Russell had been doing, and you had a nice breakout. You had a big level get taken out at the 200, and then when we failed it, you've been pulling back in. But guess what? In strong upward trends, you're going to have healthy dips. And in particular with the Russell, you've had a healthy dip back into the 50 period where you bounced off 187. So that's the good. The concern that I would have going forward with the Russell is you're getting a lot of cold water thrown on these rate hikes. Or sorry, not rate hikes, in terms of the rate cuts. So a lot of people are saying the market's getting too far ahead of itself. The Russell is going to need to see these cuts to continue. So it's very important looking at that March projected cut, which is now a 50-50 proposition. If that doesn't happen, the 187 probably gets tested. If we can hold that level and they do cut, I think you see us back above the 200 level. So it's had a good start bouncing off this key price level. A, holding that in the short term. B, seeing those rate cut odds go back up past that 70-80% where they were before and off of this 50-50 stuff. You need to have those early cuts to maintain the momentum in the wrestle that we had a bit earlier on. So I think that's going to be pretty important. Now, CMAC just saying there will be March cuts. I'm calling it. CMAC, we're going to hold you to that. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I lean toward, I think they're probably going to, like, they're probably going to be actually paying attention. They'll say data dependent, all that good stuff. I think they really are. I think when you look at what the market is like, look at this board. It's all green. Everything is so super strong. They see it. I know that's not their mandate, but they see what's going on here when things are heated. And they're going to be keeping ears to the ground. If there's too much strength, if there's just too much strength in the labor market and the market's at those highs, I don't see how they're going to be able to pull those cuts off. I tend to be in that camp. I think they would. It's hard to do when you look at what's going on right now. But who knows? We'll see what happens with it. Let's get on to it. Oh, I haven't been moving the topics here. We're not on SPY all-time high. We already did chips and dip. China? Talking about China? What the hell happened in China? I don't know. You tell me what happened. No, but in all seriousness, you had to be under a rock today to have not seen what happened with some of the Chinese ADRs. So it behooves us to break this down, understand how something which was so under so much pressure, like look at the chart on the daily of Alibaba. I'll use Alibaba as like our little proxy here, as to like what the heck happened at about noon. And I could pull up JD.com. I mean, I could pull up Pinduoduo. Like all of these did exactly the same thing. Like what caused this buying action? So the only thing that I was able to find, you had a major brokerage in China essentially halt short selling in their equity market on specific names for all of their clients. Now it's one broker. I don't know how, I'm not an expert in that market. I don't know the kind of effect it's going to have in a broad sense. I can tell you what's happened in North American markets when they've done things like that. You guessed it, things tend to reverse. So clearly the reaction here was extreme. Now the only thing that has given me pause for concern for a little bit is that news was overnight. Now I saw Zero Hedge tweet this, start talking about it in the midday as this was going. However, after I did a little bit of digging, I saw this news reported by multiple people overnight. And yet we were still gapped down this morning, liquidity grabbing underneath, and then all of a sudden we break out late and you get that news. Now here's the beauty of all of this. Well, if we missed, here's the best part. Here is the best opportunity. I look at Alibaba. Here's your 70 level on Alibaba. You've made a wipeout bottom on this daily chart underneath 70. You have yet to break that out. You're under the 50 period. You're under the 200 period. If this is the start of a cycle for these names to be buyable, investable, tradable to the long side, then it's a great catalyst, and you're still able to get this if it breaks out the 70 level. No questions asked. Now, you can express these things any way you want. Whoops. Well, I don't have to. Well, I don't want KRE. I want KWeb. See, I click on it. I want KWeb. Get out of here. Get out of here. I want the Chinese Internet ETF. So if you're trading this, now you can pick names. I showed you Alibaba because the 70 setup's good. Pinduoduo is a rocket ship. That's been a stock that's been immune to all of these issues. But if you look at KWeb here, this is also giving you a chance. There is your 23 bottom at 24 bucks. So what you also have available here in KWeb is it hasn't really closed above that 24 again. So this could make the bottom, wait for it to retake that low, and then jam to the upside. You got room to the 50, room to the 200. So if there's continuation to this move, and this was just the start, no problem, no worries. I always say I would rather join buyers than try to make it happen all by yourself. Don't try to make fetch a thing. Let a bunch of other people say fetch, then just sound really cool when you say it after the fact. Do it the Apple way. Is Apple ever the first to do something? Nope. They just do it best. So join the party that you know is good and make the best of it, right? I mean, sometimes you go to a random party and it's fantastic. Other times you're walking down the main street at university, you look over, that looks like a pretty cool keg party. It's like 12:30, and like, that one looks good. Let's go into that one. You know what's banging. I don't have to guess. And if you go into a bum party at like 10:30, like, you're leaving anyway. So you might as well join the buying instead of try to make it. So I promised you guys we would do this. We got 15 minutes here, and I wanted to get to the halfway. We're not going to do the roll call just yet. We could do a roll call if you wanted, but I want to do a Q&A. I always say that let's do a Q&A and ask anything here, guys. We'll have to turn. Okay, no, it's fine. No, when you move the light over here, I'm going to turn. I'm not don't do, Fabian, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I got to know where I'm looking at. I am not a professional broadcaster here. I'm more of a Ron Burgundy. If we had a teleprompter, I'd just start reading it. If I get asked questions in the chat, I'll just start reading it. See, like, I'll even read this. Mr. Weed, I used to grow sour diesel in, whatever, I'm not going to. I don't know what you're talking about there. Well, that's a good question. YZ here. Why you and Sean hate Affirm so much? LOL. So 2 things. I think Sean hates Affirm way more than I do. Affirm was one of my best pandemic YOLO, everything is going to the upside trades, because I did own it in my personal account for a trade. I mean, that it is what it is. Like, everything was going up. It was one of those frothy names. I took my shot at it. It was great. It was fun. It was fantastic. So the reason why we have some hatred, I'll show you on the chart. It actually makes sense why we both felt the stock was a short. A couple of things here. You've got debts at a high level. Obviously, we know household debts are higher, credit card bills are going up and all that stuff, some concerns about the economy, yada, yada, yada. A lot of that hasn't come to fruition, but you've got to figure if there was a slowdown, these guys are going to take a hit. Throw on top of that where it went to off the bottom. So all that pandemic nonsense, which was a heck of a lot of fun on the way up, but if you didn't take profit on the way up, you got absolutely burned on the stock. This is $150, man. That's $165. That's $175. But since it made the low, breaks the bottom, first dip, $50. Dips again, lower high. I mean, it ran on a weekly chart. You go back to October, this was at $17. It tripled to 50. It tripled to 50. On what? On what? You tell me. You tell me if it deserves to be a triple up. But it got to that monster level, which was support. Eventually, when it broke, turned into a resistance level. It got there too fast, and it failed to 50. And when something's in downward trend, I think you short it every single day. I say the same. I've said the same thing about. I have nothing against Lucid. I don't really know. I'm not a car guy. I can't tell you any. Like, I'm not Randy. I can't wax poetically about this. But it's like, so one gets to a resistance level. I think it got there too fast. I look trend short. A stock like this just goes down every single day. I think you just look short. Right? Like, I try to keep things relatively simple when I can. So that's what we're all about here. It's bad, LOL. BTC shorts got hosed today. Yeah, they did. So many. I'm not going to wrap. I have nothing ready for you guys. What stock, Anthony Kerr, what stock bit you that you absolutely never trade anymore? That's a good one. What stock bit me? I can tell you back. I know our old trading floor, I've said this before. When Sean and I owned our own trading floor, the answer to that was BAC. We could never make money on BAC, so we don't do it. The stock that bit me that I do not touch. I'm thinking about it because I don't want to give an answer that's still, like, I could tell you I haven't traded Sundial in a while, but I actually made money the last time I traded it, so I can't say that that's true. You know what? It wasn't something that I lost on, but the answer is SMCI. And I was explaining this to Obi why I don't trade SMCI, and today, it bit me today not trading SMCI. But the actual honest answer was SMCI. And it was a day that I was doing the show with Max. Sean was away. And I was trading SMCI. And it was literally my biggest winner that week was on SMCI, my top trade overall. But what happened was I got out of the trade and I was reviewing it. And I realized that what I thought I was risking, I was not risking based on the spread and what would have happened if it had broken against me. And I broke every single one of my risk rules, and how much I had won had it not worked would have been catastrophic. It was like I wouldn't have been like better than 1-to-1. It would have been nasty. And if I'd missed my stop, it could have been much worse than that. So based on that, I don't touch SMCI because of that spread. Now, clearly today, you could have broken every single rule in the book on SMCI and just gone long at any point. It would have worked out for you. But it was a spread. It was a lack of liquidity, why I don't trade the stock anymore. And it wasn't something that I lost on. It was just once I realized in a deeper sense what the risk reward was on a winning trade, I decided to stop trading. It's the most honest answer I can give you because I can't think of something that recently has bit me that I don't trade anymore. What else we got in here? I love the questions. It's a great question, and I'm going to think over the weekend if I can come up with a better stock that I had a losing trade on. I know there's setups that I will stop doing if they're not working out for me, but certainly that's a great question altogether. Henry, there's a couple of good ones here. Henry Liu, how has your day trading style changed over the years? For Sean, he is now holding on longer instead of taking exits every 10 cents when it goes in his direction. So my journey for trading has been a wild one. I started out momentum trading as a trainee. I then graduated trading small cap stocks, momentum trading small cap stocks. The second I was making any money, I discovered penny stocks, and I made my first real bank. I was positive momentum trading small caps, and then I moved to penny stocks. And my graduation month on small cap, I tripled my profits the next month moving to penny stocks. And then I was just a penny stock trader because that's where the money was. And I went from trading penny stocks because you'd get a rebate back then. I became really good at rebate trading. And then there was someone introduced me to trading buyouts. We had a bunch of money trading buyouts. Then we were introduced to trading the European markets, which were not as sophisticated. Momentum trading some Europe at closes and stuff like that. That was very profitable. 08 happened. And yeah, everybody and their mother had to go back to momentum trading, especially the banks in 08. You did a bunch of that as well. So it's been a bit all over the place, but I think you're probably more interested in what's happened during the show. So during the show, and you've probably seen this, the last 3 weeks, I've had 2 red days. And one thing I'm doing a heck of a lot more of is a bit different. I'm doing more of what suits my style on breakout trades and support and resistance trades. And that is taking my profits where they lie according to plan and not getting peeved when I'm out of the move too early. Because it's just something, like the other day when NVIDIA broke the 500 and I went 500 to 510, it's for every time I do that, I know that I'm less likely to give up the move. I take the range that I'm expecting because that's what I've priced my risk for. So when I'm getting out too early, it's part of my plan. When I'm getting, this is the exit here at the first 20%, and this is the next exit. Like NVIDIA, it was I got some out in front of 1s, I got some out in front of 2.5, I got some out in front of 4, I covered the rest at 10. That was kind of my plan. If I saw weakness at those areas, I was covering. Now, could I have gone long again at the tops? I probably could have and found a second trade, but I've been way more disciplined with executing on my plan, not averaging in, not holding past stops, making sure I take profits where there's decision-making point. So I've been doing a heck of a lot of that. That's been my biggest change because I found I was trying to improve mainly by just simply holding on longer. But then I realized before I do that, I want to try to do more of what's working for me the best and then do that. So that's what I've been doing, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense to you there. Fantastic question, though. So there's been a few. What else we got here? I know general thoughts on AMD. I actually said this to Obi. It wasn't Obi, it was Brendan. I'm thinking about where I might trail some AMD before they have their earnings. I think it's a rocket ship. They have a lot to justify based on their PE because it was already pretty ridiculous, or forward PE, I mean. So it could be a little bit tricky for them to beat. I might trim like 5 to 10%. And then I don't know where I'm going to park that just yet, but that's my thought. It just feels like there's before earnings and at earnings, there could be a bit of a pullback there as well. Did mention, I talked about NVIDIA already. Craig, who has been your favorite guest? Ooh, who's our favorite guest? Well, look, I love all the guests. I absolutely love Frank Caberna. We've had a lot of fun. I love it when we're able to have, guys like JC Peretz on the show, because we don't get them all the time. I really enjoy listening to, the answer for me the answer is Danielle Shea and Frank, and I'll give you the reason why it's those two. Because I don't, Michael Noss, the thing about Michael Noss is, like, we've been trading a long time. He actually has been trading a really long time. We're both like technical traders. I love riffing with him. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. But the reason why it's more honestly Frank and Danielle Shea is because when Frank's talking, I'm just sitting back and learning in a different way. And when Danielle's talking, I'm also sitting back and learning a different way. I don't know options very well. And so I get to learn something a little bit different when we have Danielle Shea on. Like, that's what I enjoy. I love it when we have a guest on talking about a sector that I have zero knowledge about, because then I get to learn something new that day. So that's what I find cool. Okay, call that corny or lame, but that's just true. It's good to be able to joke with Raheem and all that kind of stuff. I talk with Raheem all the time. I know what he's thinking. Sean and I talk to Raheem all the time. Like, when he comes on, you guys learn a bunch of stuff. We kind of have already spoken to him already. There's only 5 minutes to go, and we'll keep going here. What else we got? JD versus Alibaba. At these levels, I'd buy a break of Alibaba at 70. It sets up technically really well, and I have not been paying attention to JD. I think the fundamentals are pretty good on Alibaba. I know JD's had some issues. I know Baba, there's been some concerns about them growing too much and then getting too bureaucratic. That is obviously true, but I'll just leave it with Baba there as well. Derek saying his worst stock is Neo. You should always know what your worst stock is. The thing about, and I think the reason why that question was asked about what is your worst stock that's burned you that you didn't go back to, it's because you can have a stock where a trading setup that works for you 8 times or 9 times out of 10, you put it on in that stock and it works half the time. And you don't know why, but it's something about the way that stock is traded, or whatever algos are trading on it, whatever the counterparties are trading on it, it doesn't work for you. That's important. Oh, here's an example. For any technical setup I ever see on Ford doesn't work for me on a day trade. Swing trading setups look good. On a day trade, they never work. I find that if I'm trading Ford, it has to be a simplistic, even dollar, stupid gimmick kind of trade. But if it's based on my chart, specifically my 15-minute, never seems to work out. That's just Ford. It just came to my mind just now. What else we got here? If I don't like liquidity or spread, I don't trade it. That's great, Peterson. I agree with you as well. You should stay away from those things. If I had to put $1 million in one stock to become 10 million in a year, you're asking what would go 10x this year? I mean, I don't know. I always found those questions are kind of like a little bit silly. But because if you're looking for like a 10x, I don't think there's nothing that I think is a 10x that is worth putting $1 million in, because that's a gamble and a long shot. Like that's not a reasonable amount of my worth that I would put in expecting and looking for 10x. Like, I'd put a small amount of something that I think could go 10x. Like, what are the types of things that could go 10x right now? A gamble on anything in the EV space because they've been beaten up so much. Do I think NVIDIA can go 10x? No, I don't. I think it's a good buy. I don't think it can go 10x. No questions asked. There's probably some penny stocks out there Fabian's talking about that could be some good plays. Maybe you're looking for squeezes. I haven't done enough work on those. That's probably what you're looking for. I don't really have any of those for you. I'll just be honest with you. He said pharma shorts. Lily's already happened. You don't want to gamble there. So at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. I'm not going to make something up because that's not fair to you. Then someone might be listening and saying, go ahead and buy that. So I wanted to address the question. I didn't want to leave it out there. So what's this? I'm trying to read the name here. T-Bone Steaky? Whatever. T-Bone Steaky. That's what it looks like, even though it's kind of worded, it's spelled a little interesting. Best tips for beginner traders who get in their own heads a little bit too much. This is going to be a boring tip, but every single strategy or trade that you make, ensure that you have the type of plan for that trade that is quantifiable. And what I mean by that is, if you're taking a breakout, Uber 65, because I know what happened today, my entry is, if Uber breaks this level, take X, stop goes at X, profit takes at these levels. If I see buyers above, add here, this much, and then hold to this, like all that, those if-then statements, so that you can go back and quantify, if you don't take it, whether it would have worked or not. If you see the setup somewhere else, whether it would have worked or not. And the other thing you have to do, once you've done that, you have the ability to look at different strategies and how they work. One of the biggest mistakes I see traders do is have no no concept of what actually pays them or works for them. Like if you just trade Uber, like today I had 2 trades on Uber. I'm going to go to the chart here. I know we only have 1 minute left, but this is a really good question. So I want to make sure I get this right for you guys. On Uber today, I had, and I'm going to go to a 3-minute chart because that's what I was trading off of. So let's just quickly do this so we get this right. I was looking at a 65 breakout. That's one trade. And then from there, I was doing VWAP dip buying, which it ended up holding very well for the rest of the day. So if you just look at your P&L, I was up on Uber today. What does that tell you? Literally nothing. That's great, you were up. Who cares? What did you do that worked? The breakout trade was okay, and then it stopped back out. But the dip buy held VWAP, held VWAP, reload. How did you do reloading? Where did I get out? If you can quantify those 2 separate trades, you know which one works better for you. And when you're in a slump or when you're looking to solidify what strategies you should focus on, maybe you'll find out that you do better on uptrending stocks at highs, dip buying into VWAP and joining the trend. Like that's an actual setup trade that you could be doing. So once you do that, you'll know where you're getting paid. And that's very, very important because the only thing that matters is putting more capital to the things that work for you. Not just putting more capital because you're up. Traders scale because their P&L is up and it's a mistake. Right? You should be scaling. You do want to do that, but you should only be scaling in the things that actually are paying you. And if you make money every day trading AMD, there's probably 5 different setups that you're trading. And if 2 of them are working and you're scaling the other 3 because you happen to be up, it's a recipe for disaster. And that trips up a lot of traders early on. So document everything, quantify everything. I know it's boring. I know it's work. But trust me when I tell you, it's worth it in the end if you have a productive trading career. All that hard work does pay off, right? So you might as well go ahead and do it. So that's a bit long-winded. I know time is over. I didn't even get to a roll call here. So let's quickly do it. Let's drop it. If you want to shout out, now is your chance because I see, and apologies for everyone I didn't get to on their questions. Mr. Weed, shout out to you. Anthony Kerr, For Profit. Professor Love, what up? Tony Price, Puff Puff Pass. Oh, goodness. Mr. Memes in the chat. Jacob in here. I see Dean Floyd, Sailor Moon. It's flying too fast here. Juan Padilla, Mr. Peanut, Derek Thompson, Streamlabs. What's going on here? Bears versus Bulls. We love you. Howell Capital Trading. Bright Awakening. BGZ. Igor. Bristol. Andrew Chow. Benny. Rich Naples. Moho. Future Eddie. What up, Future Eddie? Had pleasure chatting. You guys some good questions here today as well. Super Heart, what up? Professor Love, Pranya, been a hot minute. Chris Shrum, Chris Butler, Michael, Mac Gonzalez. I love it when you got a nickname in there as well. Bbot 5000. Bbot, I like it. That sounds pretty good. Giving them sirens. Neil MacArthur, JD man. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, hold on a second. Neil MacArthur, hey, what up? You got a great name. JD man. I didn't even give my NFL playoff picks, but if you put KC Chiefs in there, you know what I'm about to say to you right here. The Buffalo Bills are winning this weekend. Now, I understand KC's going to put up a good fight. As a matter of fact, I actually think Travis Kelce's going to score a touchdown. I know I said he's going to have a bad game and Taylor Swift and all that. He's getting in the end zone. But the Bills are going to win this game. The other thing that I think is San Francisco is going to absolutely blow out. Just San Francisco to cover. End of story. But if you're looking for some in-game, like who are the players that are going to do well, I take just whatever the receiving prop you can find on James Cook, I'm looking for the overs there. I think they're going to have to utilize James Cook, Buffalo is, in the passing game. So I think that's going to be pretty important. But I shouted you out, JD, man. But just understand that I'm a Bills fan here. I own a Kansas City Chiefs jersey. Jamal Charles, as a matter of fact. But I'm not liking the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. You know what's up. Terrific Tech, shout out to you as well. SharePoint. There's a lot of you. I can't get to them all. Thank you so much. We had a lot of fun this week. It was a great week of trading. You know it'll be fantastic next week. I really enjoy getting to do this every now and then to fill in for Sean. He'll be back next week to give you a market recap. Before I get out of here, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, right? At 10 o'clock, the podcast will drop. So it's on Apple, Spotify, catch it on YouTube as well. And after you've listened to that, you'll be ready to start the next week of trading, which you know is going to be another banger. So take care all from Trader TV Live. Have a fun weekend. Rest up. We got more trading to do next week.